subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Synopsis. After crossing into the world of Dragon Ball, Rin became a Saiyan of Planet Vegeta. At the start, he traded a simple starchy sausage made of technology and hard work for Whis' simplified version of Ultra Instinct. Unexpectedly, he ended up cultivating the power of an angel. Chapter 1. Angelic Power in the year 737 AD of Julian calendar. 7th Universe, Planet Vegeta. As the summer dusk falls, the night sky appears mysteriously dark like silk, adorned with flickering stars. Looking up at the stars, Rin contemplates silently. Hey Rin, you're leisurely. Are you still idle enough to daydream here? A childish yet cold voice suddenly resounded behind Rin. Rin didn't even need to turn around and know who was speaking. It was Prince Vegeta of the Saiyans. Vegeta is only 5 years old this year, with a small stature, upside-down black hair, battle armor, and a tail swaying lightly behind him. You'd better check your power level properly, Vegeta said, pressing a button on the device over his eyes. Beep beep. The device displayed a signal. 3 seconds later, Vegeta froze, his eyes filled with confusion and bewilderment. Power level 200? Vegeta exclaimed in disbelief. Are you kidding me? How is this possible? 3 days ago, your power level was still 1,000. A year ago, it was even as high as 20,000. Why does your power level decrease the more you train? Vegeta. Rin sighed, stepping forward and appearing beside Vegeta. Rin is also 5 years old this year, but is about 2 centimeters taller than Vegeta. You should address me as His Royal Highness. Vegeta frowned at Rin's address. Swish! Rin reached out and grabbed the device in Vegeta's eyes. What? My device? You give it back to me. Vegeta's face changed color, shouting. But this guy is so fast. How did he do it? Vegeta, you must remember not to rely on the data from this thing, Rin said, pinching the device lightly. Crack! The device made a crisp sound and shattered into several pieces, with many parts slipping from Rin's hand. How dare you destroy my device? Vegeta was furious. I'll see if I can fix it, Rin pondered. Vegeta? Vegeta was a little dizzy. Fix it? What does that mean? Rin took a deep breath, his expression becoming solemn, and a brilliant flame resembling stars suddenly appeared in his hand. The dazzling flame seemed somewhat turbid as it quickly covered the broken device. Immediately, the shattered device was restored at a visible speed under Vegeta's gaze. Vegeta widened his eyes, showing endless astonishment. What's going on? About 30 seconds later, the device, which Rin had crushed, was restored to its original state before Vegeta's eyes. Even the parts that had fallen to the ground returned to the device independently. What trick did you just use? Vegeta looked incredulous, speaking with a stutter, his childish face filled with disbelief. The power of an angel, Rin uttered slowly. Angel power? What's that? Vegeta was puzzled. You're still young. You'll know when you grow up. Rin patted Vegeta's shoulder. TCH, who are you calling young? You talk as if you're older than me. Vegeta gritted his teeth. It doesn't matter. Rin turned and walked away. Vegeta, you destroyed my device and said it doesn't matter. I get it. You deliberately showed off your special abilities, right? Give me back my device. Vegeta demanded. Rin casually threw the device to Vegeta. Vegeta caught the device and quickly put on his eyes. Then, Vegeta pressed the button on the device. Beep beep. The device transmitted a signal, and Rin's power level immediately appeared. Power level 100? How did it decrease again? Vegeta was confused and quickly asked, I heard that you trained according to the method in a strange book, so your power level decreased, right? Rin stopped, took a book from his pocket, and threw it to Vegeta. Smack! Vegeta caught the book and quickly glanced at the cover. Is there such a book? Ultra Instinct Training Guide. Vegeta muttered to himself, looking puzzled. Yes, I trained with this and gained my current abilities. Not bad, right? Rin smiled. Where did you get this book? Vegeta was momentarily stunned, looking puzzled. Do you remember last year when a cat and a blue-skinned person came to our planet? Peyton smiled. What? Are you talking about the destroyer Beerus and his attendant? Vegeta's face changed several times, and his body shook violently. Yes, Ren nodded. I used a piece of technology and some cunning to trade for this book from that person named Whis. So, you trained with this, and your power level dropped from 20,000 to 100? Vegeta was shocked. Ren nodded again. Vegeta looked at Ron, as if he were a fool. Are you kidding? When you were 4 years old, you had a power level of 20,000. Among us Saiyans, you were a super genius warrior. Father even planned to train you as my guard. But dropping your power level from 20,000 to 100 took you a year. You're something. Ren and Vegeta have a fairly good relationship. They are about the same age, and Ren is a former prodigy warrior, also known as the child of others in Vegeta's mouth. Vegeta grew up in an environment suppressed by Ren since childhood, and the shadow in his heart almost expanded to the size of the planet Vegeta. Fortunately, since last year, Ren's power level has declined instead of increasing and plummeting. Vegeta suddenly felt that every day was sunny, and he could wake up with a smile, even in his dreams. Ren still appreciates Vegeta. In Dragon Ball's storyline, Vegeta's portrayal is still very successful. He gradually grew from a proud warrior into a responsible father and husband. In Dragon Ball Super, Son Goku, the male lead, has become a dog who only knows how to fight. Did you train so hard just to learn such boring skills? Vegeta seemed to understand. That's about right, Ren nodded lightly. I've given you this book. I've already learned it. As long as you train well, you should have better improvements. TCH, I don't want this rubbish. Vegeta decisively shook his head. Although he said so out of curiosity, Vegeta still looked through the book's contents. Ultra instinct, without the need for brain thinking. Let each body part instinctively perceive the surrounding dangers and perform reflexive movements, maximizing movement speed and reaction ability. Conditions: possessing a calm mind, free from distractions, optimistic and positive. Seeing the description of Ultra Instinct written on the page, Vegeta immediately showed a disdainful expression. Not needing brain thinking, letting each part of the body perceive danger. Although Vegeta is only 5 years old, he quickly understood the meaning of this sentence. So, learning this means using it to avoid various dangers, right? You can understand it that way, Ren nodded gently. Ren, we Saiyans are a fighting race. Can we achieve victory in battle just by constantly dodging? Vegeta's expression became more contemptuous. Ren did not respond. Moreover, the condition for training mentioned here is to possess a calm mind. Don't joke. Vegeta smiled disdainfully. Have you ever heard of Super Saiyan? Having a calm mind? Super Saiyan is the strongest warrior in the universe, and they are inherently violent. If they have a calm mind, they can never become Super Saiyans. What you said makes sense. Let's stop here, Ren replied. Vegeta, you destroyed my device and said it doesn't matter. I get it. You deliberately showed off your special abilities, right? Give me back my device, Vegeta demanded. Ren casually threw the device to Vegeta. Vegeta caught the device and quickly put on his eyes. Then, Vegeta pressed the button on the device. Beep beep. The device transmitted a signal, and Ren's power level immediately appeared. Power level 100? How did it decrease again? Vegeta was confused and quickly asked, I heard that you trained according to the method in a strange book, so your power level decreased, right? Ren stopped, took a book from his pocket, and threw it to Vegeta. Smack! Vegeta caught the book and quickly glanced at the cover. Is there such a book? Ultra Instinct Training Guide. Vegeta muttered to himself, looking puzzled. Yes, I trained with this and gained my current abilities. Not bad, right? Ren smiled. Where did you get this book? Vegeta was momentarily stunned, looking puzzled. Do you remember last year when a cat and a blue-skinned person came to our planet? Ren smiled. What? Are you talking about the destroyer Beerus and his attendant? Vegeta's face changed several times, and his body shook violently. Yes, Ren nodded. I used a piece of technology and some cunning to trade for this book from that person named Whis. So, you trained with this, and your power level dropped from 20,000 to 100? Vegeta was shocked. Rin nodded again. Vegeta looked at Ron as if he were a fool. Are you kidding? When you were 4 years old, you had a power level of 20,000. Among us Saiyans, you were a super genius warrior. Father even planned to train you as my guard. But dropping your power level from 20,000 to 100 took you a year. You're something. Rin and Vegeta have a fairly good relationship. They are about the same age, and Rin is a former prodigy warrior, also known as the child of others in Vegeta's mouth. Vegeta grew up in an environment suppressed by Rin since childhood, and the shadow in his heart almost expanded to the size of the planet Vegeta. Fortunately, Rin's power level has been plummeting since last year instead of increasing. Vegeta suddenly felt that every day was sunny, and he could wake up with a smile, even in his dreams. Rin still appreciates Vegeta. In Dragon Ball's storyline, Vegeta's portrayal is still very successful. He gradually grew from a proud warrior into a responsible father and husband. In Dragon Ball Super, Son Goku, the male lead, has become a dog who only knows how to fight. Did you train so hard just to learn such boring skills? Vegeta seemed to understand. That's about right, Rin nodded lightly. I've given you this book. I've already learned it. As long as you train well, you should have better improvements. TCH, I don't want this rubbish. Vegeta decisively shook his head. Although he said so out of curiosity, Vegeta still looked through the book's contents. Ultra instinct. Without the need for brain thinking, let each body part instinctively perceive the surrounding dangers and perform reflexive movements, maximizing movement speed and reaction ability. Conditions: possessing a calm mind, free from distractions, optimistic and positive. Seeing the description of Ultra Instinct written on the page, Vegeta immediately showed a disdainful expression. Not needing brain thinking, letting each part of the body perceive danger. Although Vegeta is only 5 years old, he quickly understood the meaning of this sentence. So, learning this means using it to avoid various dangers, right? You can understand it that way, Rin nodded gently. Rin, we Saiyans are a fighting race. Can we achieve victory in battle just by constantly dodging? Vegeta's expression became more contemptuous. Rin did not respond. Moreover, the condition for training mentioned here is to possess a calm mind. Don't joke. Vegeta smiled disdainfully. Have you ever heard of Super Saiyan? Having a calm mind? Super Saiyan is the strongest warrior in the universe, and they are inherently violent. If they have a calm mind, they can never become Super Saiyans. What you said makes sense. Let's stop here, Rin replied. Vegeta, Chapter 2. Do you know how to heal? Rin traversed. Rin was deeply attracted by her story as a Dragon Ball fan after accidentally seeing Bardock's notebook, as if opening the door to a new world. On a night of the month, Rin inexplicably traversed and became a Saiyan on planet Vegeta in the Dragon Ball world. While confused and amazed, Rin also felt excitement and disappointment. I was excited because I finally traversed to the Dragon Ball world and became a Saiyan warrior. Disappointed I wanted to become an angel. I was reading Bardock's notebook. Why didn't they let me traverse into an angel? When Rin enjoys Dragon Ball Super, their favorite part is the Angel Clan. Because the Angel Clan are true gods, possessing eternal life and omnipotence. Moreover, within the Angel Clan are 3 very beautiful angel sisters. Vados from Universe 6, Margarita from Universe 11, and Cuz from Universe 10. Especially Vados. Her notebook TSK, although the Angel Clan skin color differs slightly from Saiyans or Earthlings, but it doesn't matter. Since they are gods, it should be easy to change their body color, right? Rin is the same age as Vegeta, and his parents are outstanding fighters under King Vegeta, belonging to the elite warriors. Shortly after Rin was born, his parents died in a space shuttle collision while on a mission, dying in outer space. Saiyans are a warrior race, fighting on alien planets for years, and many have died in battle. Therefore, only about a few thousand people are left on the vast planet Vegeta. There are many orphans like Rin. Sometimes Rin wants to complain, Saiyans, a warrior race, don't have the basic ability to survive in outer space. Just this point alone is fatal. If they can't defeat you in battle, they'll just destroy the planet you live on. How simple is that? Rin's talent and aptitude are pretty good, with a combat power 600 at birth, almost on par with Vegeta. When Rin was 4, he raised his combat power to 20,000. However, for Rin, it's still not enough. But King Vegeta was trembling with fear. Since then, King Vegeta has lived under Rin's spotlight. But fortunately, from that day on, for some reason, Rin's combat power has been declining like a slide. King Vegeta secretly investigated and found out that the attendant named Whis by Lord Beerus ate a sausage with a strange taste, and in return, he gave Rin a book. During this year, Rin has been studying the cultivation methods in that book. Then, his combat power kept declining. In just 1 year, Rin's combat power had dropped to 200. King Vegeta felt relieved, but also somewhat distressed. A talented warrior like Rin has been completely wasted. Lord Beerus's attendant is a scoundrel. Also, what kind of sausage did you give that person named Whis to make him cheat you like this? Even King Vegeta called Rin over once and earnestly told him not to study that strange book anymore. Rin remained unmoved and continued to study the cultivation methods in the book seriously. King Vegeta didn't try to persuade him again. Anyway, for King Vegeta and many Saiyans, Rin is completely useless. But Rin is enjoying himself. Others only think that Whis is the attendant of the god of destruction. But Rin, a Dragon Ball fan, knows clearly that Whis is the true god, and also the angel that Rin wants to become. At the power tournament of the Universal Survival Saga, the universes that lose will be erased by the Omni King himself. All the gods and planets in that universe will disappear in an instant. Only the angels remain. It can also be understood that even the god of destruction is the elite selected from the universe. But angels are different. Angels are born gods with extraordinary power. Moreover, only by becoming an angel can you better care for Vados in them, right? You, a human being, do not qualify to conduct deeper research with them, right? Then, let's start with the Ultra Instinct training. At least in the Dragon Ball Super story, Goku's path to Ultra Instinct is progressing towards an angel's path. However, this path seems very difficult. But as long as he can become a true angel, no matter how difficult the road ahead is for Rin, it doesn't matter. For Vados, after a year of hard work and research, Rin finally dissipated all the previously cultivated energy and condensed a somewhat turbid angelic power. Although it's turbid angelic power, it still possesses some basic effects of angelic power. What can angelic power do? Through a year of research and the experience of being a Dragon Ball fan in his past life, Rin has a clear understanding of angelic power. Angelic power is equivalent to a kind of omnipotent energy, or it can be called a versatile magical energy that is more appropriate. Nothing you can't think of, nothing you can't do. Angelic power can be transformed into, including but not limited to destruction, healing, repair, magic, flames, control, insight, resurrection, and even through powerful angelic power. Time can be reversed back to a few minutes ago. Of course, because of the impurity of the angelic power that Rin can condense, he still can't make time flow backwards. Even so, for Rin, it's still a small step towards the path of an angel. The so-called training of Ultra Instinct is the condensation of angelic power. In this cultivation process, Rin will gradually comprehend the essence of Ultra Instinct. Rin dissipated all the energy he had previously cultivated because those cultivated energies were useless compared to angelic power. Don't underestimate Rin's current angelic power, which he can only condense, which is not pure enough. According to Rin's understanding of angelic power, if the purity of the true angel's angelic power is 100, then the purity of his current angelic power is only 1. However, even with a purity of only 1, it can still easily destroy the world if transformed into destructive power. If you insist on giving a combat power to this angelic power, Rin thinks that this thing's combat power should be at least 1 billion. And this is still the angelic power with a purity of only 1. Mainly because Rin hasn't completely dissipated all his energy. If all of his energy is completely dissipated, Rin thinks that the purity of his angelic power will still increase and his combat power will also increase exponentially. Rin looked up at the starry sky, and Bardock's notebook couldn't help but come to mind. Rin shook his head vigorously. I'm daydreaming again. In the starry sky, spaceships occasionally land on planet Vegeta. Seeing more and more Scions returning to planet Vegeta, Rin felt mixed emotions. According to the timeline calculation, Frieza will destroy planet Vegeta in a short while. It's time to leave this planet. Rin is not a saint. Naturally, he won't be a hero to save planet Vegeta. Moreover, the real mastermind behind the destruction of planet Vegeta is not Frieza, but the god of destruction, Beerus. It's not that god of destruction Beerus has a grudge against Scions, but the existence of planet Vegeta has seriously affected the balance of the universe. Of course, Frieza also has some personal grievances. Vegeta, have you considered going on an interstellar battle recently? I could take you to a good place. When leaving, Rin turned back and asked Vegeta. Rin intended to leave planet Vegeta with Vegeta's spaceship, but didn't plan to actively provoke Frieza. Rin's principle of action is to develop and become an angel and marry Bardock home. What? Do you want to follow me on an interstellar battle? Vegeta quickly understood Rin's meaning. What do you plan to leave? Rin asked. I won't take you with me. You'll only be a burden to me if you go. Vegeta snorted, raising his head high. Your combat power is only 100. Taking you out is embarrassing for me. A prince. Don't you know I've been practicing healing arts? Rin smiled mysteriously. Healing arts? Vegeta paused, staring at Rin without blinking. Rin smiled. In Vegeta's mind, he suddenly remembered the scene where Rin just restored the broken scouter. Got it, right? I can even restore a broken scouter, let alone your injuries, right? Rin smiled. Don't believe me? Let me try it now. Try it. Vegeta was once again stunned. Chapter 3. Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan God Whis. Rin's figure moved, appearing behind Vegeta in an instant. The speed was so fast that even Vegeta didn't react. Vegeta rubbed his eyes hard, shook his head, and looked around for Rin's whereabouts. Behind you. Rin's voice sounded behind Vegeta. Vegeta was shocked and mechanically turned his head, staring at Rin behind him with widened eyes. Bang! Rin's palm struck, hitting Vegeta's neck. Of course, Rin infused a bit of angelic power into this palm, converting it into high-intensity energy. Rin didn't convert the angelic power into destruction. Vegeta might have been smashed to pieces by this palm if he had. Even so, Vegeta was knocked forward, and as he lunged forward, blood sprayed from his mouth. Pa! Vegeta fell to the ground, lying on the earth, feeling quite unwell. Vegeta looked shocked, his expression changing constantly, with endless horror in his eyes. Did I get injured by Rin's kid? How is this possible? I must have been careless. I didn't dodge. Yes, it must be like this. Otherwise, how could he injure me with a combat power of only 100? Vegeta's young mind was relatively simple. I'll try using healing techniques now. Rin stepped forward and quickly covered Vegeta with a hazy angelic power. Instantly, Vegeta's injuries began to visibly heal at a rapid pace. In less than 10 seconds, Vegeta's injuries were completely healed. Vegeta immediately leapt up from the ground, feeling somewhat amazed at the change in his body. Rin sensed Vegeta's aura slightly, finding that his combat power had not increased. Because Vegeta was not in a near-death state just now, even if he had been healed, his combat power would not have doubled. Healed? Vegeta was amazed. I told you, didn't I? Remember to call me when you set off. Remember, the planet I'm taking you to is unique, Rin said and flew into the sky, quickly leaving. But Vegeta stayed in place, not coming to his senses for long. Wait a minute, did I overlook something? The fact that you injured me, are we just letting it go like that? Rin flew up and soared over the blue planet of Vegeta, returning to the town in no time. The town streets were bustling, with more and more Scions being summoned back by Frieza. It could be said that since Rin was born, so many Saiyan brethren have never been seen. Among these returning troops, Rin noticed that Goku's father, Bardock, had also returned aboard a spaceship. Bardock was Goku's biological father and returned from outer space because of Frieza's summons. Bardock's appearance was similar to Goku's, the only difference being a long scar on his face, a mark left from battles. Additionally, he had a furry tail swaying in the wind behind him. Bardock, long time no see. You're still alive? A scion named Ruda greeted Bardock with a smile. Do you know why Frieza summoned us back? Bardock turned to Ruda and asked. Who knows? It said that a super large star has been discovered, and many scions need to be mobilized to attack it and bring it down. Ruda replied with a smile. Bardock fell into thought, feeling a sense of foreboding. By the way, those Frieza Force guys seem to be inquiring everywhere about the Super Saiyan, Ruda added. Super Saiyan? Bardock was slightly stunned. Is it the legendary Super Saiyan? Yes, that legendary hero. Ruda nodded proudly. Super Saiyan, a widely circulated hero among the Scions. He is said to be the strongest person in the entire universe. Of course, when talking about the entire universe here, it's not the 12 universes, but the entire 7th universe in the Scion's understanding. In my understanding, Super Scions are divided into two types, ordinary Super Scions and the legendary Super Scions. Rin walked up, smiling calmly like a little adult. Seeing Rin suddenly appear, Bardock and Ruda were slightly stunned. Who do you think I am? Isn't this our genius youth, Rin? Ruda laughed and couldn't help but press the detector on his eyes, then marveled, shaking his head. You better check your combat power. I don't know how you did it. Your combat power is only 100 now. It's no big deal. Rin didn't care. Ruda, Bardock. Bardock also gave Rin a deep look, his eyes full of questions. Bardock had heard a little about Rin's affairs. After all, Rin was once an outstanding genius warrior with a combat power of 20,000 at the age of 4. But in just a year, his combat power had dropped to 100. What on earth happened? Of course, Bardock didn't know about Rin's learning the strange book and the way of cultivation because he had been fighting outside for years. TCH, talking as if you know so much about Super Saions. Ruda sneered. You better check your combat power value properly. A good genius like you is now useless. About the Super Saiyan, Rin, how much do you know? Bardock asked with some curiosity. Just as I said just now, Super Saions are divided into ordinary Super Saions and the legendary Super Saions. Rin smiled and replied. The legendary Super Saiyan is a rare genius that appears only once every 1,000 years. Forget about a Scions. But you can become an ordinary Super Saiyan through diligent cultivation. Bardock showed a pensive expression. However, Ruda laughed heartily on the side. Rin, last you said that through diligent cultivation, we can become ordinary Super Saions. Why didn't you include yourself? Ruda teased. I'm afraid I won't be able to become a Super Saiyan. Rin sighed. Is it because you're already useless? Ruda laughed again. No, I might directly skip the transformation into a Super Saiyan and become a Super Saiyan God. Rin said slowly, looking up at the sky. Ruda, Bardock, you can talk. I can't keep up with you. And to become a Super Saiyan, you first need to have a certain amount of S cells. And the way these S cells are born is very simple. That is to have a peaceful heart. Rin smiled and explained briefly to Bardock and Ruda. S cells? Peaceful heart. Ruda was stunned. What nonsense are you talking about? Bardock, you're pretty good. You have a relatively peaceful mindset, and S cells have already been born in your body, but it's still far from enough. Rin ignored Ruda and looked at Bardock, saying, but as long as you maintain your current attitude, I believe that soon you will become a true Super Saiyan. What? I'll become a true Super Saiyan? Bardock was stunned for a moment. Ha ha, Bardock, you're not taking it seriously, are you? Ruda, on the other hand, laughed even more heartily. Rin shook his head, not as experienced as Ruda. He said that to Bardock because Rin knew that when Planet Vegeta was destroyed, Bardock might have crossed back 1,000 years. And the legend of the Super Saiyan is passed down from Bardock. Let me just round off this story. Rin was just about to leave. Two guards flew swiftly from a distance and landed beside Rin. Run, His Royal Highness said that tonight at 10 o'clock sharp, gather at the spaceship launch base, no delays. One of the guards stepped forward and said, next time, with a detector, it's more convenient for communication. The other guard pointed to the detector in his eye. Chapter 4. The exiled son of destiny whoosh. Rin's figure moved, appearing behind Vegeta in an instant. The speed was so fast that Vegeta couldn't even react. Vegeta rubbed his eyes hard, shook his head, and looked around for Rin's whereabouts. Behind you. Rin's voice sounded behind Vegeta. Vegeta was startled, mechanically turned his head, and stared at Rin behind him with wide eyes. Bang! Rin slapped, hitting Vegeta's neck on the spot. Of course, Rin infused a bit of angel power into this palm, transforming it into high-intensity energy. Rin did not convert the angelic power into destruction. If it had been transformed into destruction, Vegeta might have been smashed into pieces by Rin's slap. Even so, Vegeta was knocked forward, and as he lunged forward, blood sprayed from his mouth. Plap! Vegeta fell to the ground, lying on the earth, feeling unwell. Vegeta looked shocked, his face changing repeatedly, his eyes full of endless horror. I was injured by Rin's kid with one slap? How is this possible? I must have been careless. I didn't dodge. Yes, that must be it. Otherwise, how could he, someone with only a power level of 100, injure me? Vegeta's young mind was relatively simple in its thoughts. I'll try healing now. Rin stepped forward, a murky aura of angelic power quickly covering Vegeta. Immediately, Vegeta's injuries began to heal at a visible rate. In less than 10 seconds, Vegeta's injuries were completely healed. Vegeta immediately leapt up from the ground, feeling somewhat amazed at the change in his body. Rin sensed Vegeta's aura slightly, finding that his power level had not increased. Because Vegeta was not in a near-death state just now, even if he had been healed, his power level would not have doubled. Healed? Vegeta was amazed. I told you, didn't I? Remember to call me when you set off. Remember, the planet I'm taking you to is unique, Rin said, then flew into the sky and quickly left. Vegeta, however, stayed in place, not returning to his senses for a long time. Wait a minute, did I overlook something? The fact that you injured me, is that it? Rin flew up and soared over the blue planet of Vegeta, returning to the town in no time. The town streets were bustling, with more and more Saiyans being summoned back by Frieza. It can be said that since Rin was born, so many Saiyan compatriots have never been seen. Among these returning troops, Rin noticed that Bardock, the father of Goku, had also returned on the spaceship. Bardock was Goku's biological father and returned from outer space because of Frieza summons. Bardock's appearance was very similar to Goku's, the only difference being a long scar on his face, a trace left by battles. Additionally, he had a furry tail swaying in the wind behind him. Bardock, long time no see, you're still alive? A Saiyan named Ruda greeted Bardock with a smile. Do you know why Frieza summoned us back? Bardock turned to Ruda and asked. Who knows? It is said that a super large star has been discovered, and many Saiyans need to be mobilized to attack and conquer it, Ruda replied with a smile. Bardock fell into contemplation, but he had a bad feeling. By the way, the Frieza Force seems to be asking about the Super Saiyan, Ruda added. Super Saiyan? Bardock was slightly stunned. Is it the legendary Super Saiyan? Yes, that legendary hero, Ruda nodded proudly. Super Saiyan, a legendary figure widely circulated among the Saiyans. He is said to be the most powerful person in the entire universe. Of course, when talking about the entire universe here, it is not the 12 universes, but the entire 7th universe in the Saiyans' perception. In my knowledge, Super Saiyans are divided into two types, ordinary Super Saiyans and legendary Super Saiyans. Rin approached and smiled calmly like a little adult. Seeing Rin suddenly appearing, both Bardock and Ruda were slightly stunned. Who do you think I am? Isn't this our genius boy? Run. Ruda laughed and couldn't help but press the detector on his eyes. Then, he marveled and shook his head. You'd better check your power level. I don't know how you managed it, but your power level is only 100 now. This is nothing to worry about. Rin didn't care. Ruda, Bardock. Bardock also looked deeply at Rin, his eyes full of questions. Bardock had heard about Rin's affairs. After all, Rin was once an outstanding genius warrior, possessing a power level of 20,000 at the age of 4. But just a year later, his power level became 100. What on earth happened? Of course, Bardock was unaware of Rin's learning of the strange book and the cultivation method. Che, you talk like you know so much about super science. Ruda sneered. You'd better check your power level, and you, a good genius, have become useless. As for super science, Run, how much do you know? Bardock was somewhat curious. Just as I said earlier, super science are divided into ordinary super science and legendary super science. Rin smiled and replied. The legendary super scion is a genius who appears once every 1,000 years. Forget about us, science. But you can become an ordinary super scion through diligent training. Bardock wore a pensive expression. On the side, Ruda burst into laughter. Run, did you believe that? Ruda laughed even more heartily. Rin shook his head, not as knowledgeable as Ruda. The reason why he said that to Bardock was because Rin knew that at the moment when Planet Vegeta was destroyed, Bardock might have traveled back 1,000 years. The legend of the Super Saiyan is derived from Bardock. Let me round off this story for you. Rin was about to leave. Two guards flew swiftly from a distance and landed beside Rin. Run, His Highness the Prince said, gather at the spaceship launch base at exactly 10 o'clock tonight. No delays. One of the guards stepped forward and said, next time, we're your detector. It's convenient for communication. The other guard pointed to the detector in his eye. Chapter 5. Leaving Planet Vegeta, what did you hear? Frieza smiled and looked at the newcomer. Lord Frieza, I didn't hear anything. I'm deaf. The newcomer hastily knelt. Oh, is that so? Frieza chuckled, eyes emitting two beams of light. Sizzle in an instant, Frieza's minion was reduced to ashes by the beams, dead beyond death. Barry Blue smiled, unfazed, seemingly accustomed to such events. Anyway, what about that former Saiyan genius? Frieza asked curiously. Lord Frieza, who just came in, was reporting about someone named Run. Barry Blue wiped sweat. Frieza. 1 minute later, another one of Frieza's minions hurried in and briefly reported about Run. Oh, power level dropped from 20,000 to 100 in just 1 year? He truly is a genius. Frieza grinned at the minion. The minion dared not lift his head, kneeling obediently. I was looking forward to it. I naively thought his power could increase from 20,000 to 100,000. Frieza sighed disappointingly. Lord Frieza, Science, except when they turn into great apes, cannot elevate their base power level to such a degree. Barry Blue smirked disdainfully. Frieza didn't pursue the topic further, asking with a smile. So, how many Scions have returned to Planet Vegeta? In about a month or so, most Scions outside will return. Only a few need more time to come back, Barry Blue replied. I can't wait that long. Let's take action after a month. Frieza's smile grew more sinister. Wouldn't that arouse suspicions among the survivors? Barry Blue inquired. He just say they were unfortunate enough to be hit by a huge meteorite. Frieza laughed maniacally. Laughing, Frieza suddenly saw a small spaceship shooting from Planet Vegeta into space, leaving behind a bright trail and heading towards distant stars. Frieza's smile froze, his expression turning grim. Investigate immediately. Find out who's so audacious to come out of Planet Vegeta now. Barry Blue quickly ordered her minions. The investigation results came out quickly. Oh, Vegeta? Ren. Frieza mused, his gaze turning colder. Lord Frieza, shall we bring them down? Barry Blue bowed, respectfully asking, then with some concern, but if we act against their prince now, it might cause unnecessary trouble. Scions returning from other places might halt, and your plan, Barry Blue didn't finish her sentence. But the implication was clear. Let them go, Frieza said grimly, shaking his head. Indeed, choosing to act now would result in the death of the Scion Prince, and the Scions who received the news would not return to Planet Vegeta. Brief silence. Barry Blue, have you heard of raising pigs? Frieza suddenly chuckled. What do you mean, Lord Frieza? Barry Blue looked puzzled. When raising pigs, you fatten them first, then they taste better. Frieza grinned, looking at the departing small spaceship. Are you suggesting we treat Vegeta and Ren like pigs? Barry Blue realized. Precisely, let them stay. Frieza chuckled. Isn't that too many pigs? Barry Blue asked. Frieza thought for a moment, feeling it was indeed too many pigs, and ordered, "Then let's keep Vegeta and run, plus 2 random Scions, a total of 4 pigs." Haha. Adding one more, we'll have as many as the Ginyu Force. Berry Blue laughed. Just as they finished laughing, Captain Ginyu of the Ginyu Force strode in, his forehead covered in black lines. "Berry Blue, you've gone too far. We're not pigs." Ginyu glared at Berry Blue angrily. "Haha, just kidding, just kidding." Berry Blue scratched her head awkwardly. "Is there something?" Frieza turned to look at Ginyu. "Lord Frieza, for the attack on planet Vegeta, our Ginyu Force is willing to take the lead." Ginyu bowed respectfully. "No need for that trouble. Just a planet destruction bomb. No one will escape." Frieza waved his hand casually. "Are you going to destroy planet Vegeta?" Ginyu lamented. "That planet has good resources. Isn't it a waste to destroy it? Are you teaching me how to do things?" Frieza turned cold. "I suddenly feel like I haven't seen the fireworks of a planet's destruction for a long time." Ginyu smiled. Frieza's coldness gradually turned into a smile. Swoosh! As they spoke, another spherical spaceship flew into space, passing by Frieza's ship. "Frieza, who is it again?" Frieza squinted. "Lord Frieza. It's a Scion baby with a power level of 2. A minion immediately came to report. "Do you want to shoot it down?" Berry Blue inquired. "A power level of only 2? Frieza laughed immediately. "Let it go. Even if it grows up, it won't amount to anything." Inside Ren's spaceship. After flying for about an hour, Ren looked back and found that Frieza's fleet of spaceships hadn't followed. "Prince Vegeta, where are we heading next?" Raditz asked. "Ren, what do you think?" Vegeta turned to ask Ren, "How many spherical spaceships do we have on our ship?" Ren didn't answer the question, but asked casually, "How many?" "I think there are 4. Raditz rubbed his head and answered. "After all, our ship isn't very big, and there are only 4 of these spherical mini-ships." "That's great then. Except for me and Vegeta. Each of you takes one, and you can leave," Ren ordered. Raditz's smile gradually froze. Nappa looked bewildered. The other 2 Scions were also confused. "Hey, Ren, don't you plan to take them along?" Vegeta lowered his voice to ask Ren. Ren nodded. "What's the point of taking so many people? It's not very meaningful, and the target is too big. It's easy for Frieza's men to notice." "Heard that? You 4, get out of here." Vegeta decided decisively, not being polite to Raditz, Nappa, and the other Scions. "Nappa, Raditz, the other 2 Scions. So we're forming a team, but you 2 are going solo? This is outrageous," Raditz muttered, also not daring to disobey, and immediately entered one of the spherical spaceships. Nappa and the other 2 Scions also entered the other 2 spaceships. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The 4 spaceships shot out from the main spaceship, leaving behind 4 bright trails in space. Chapter 6. I'm not interested in Super Scions, hey? Ren Vegeta was about to speak. However, Ren gently waved his hand, stopping Vegeta from continuing. Then, Ren pointed to the detector in Vegeta's eyes. Vegeta wasn't stupid. Immediately understanding, he took off the detector and covered the microphone with his finger. "What's wrong? You want to tell me something, but afraid someone might overhear." Vegeta snorted, looking at Ren strangely. "I just don't want to cause unnecessary trouble." Ren smiled slightly. "Are you suspecting that guy Frieza? Are you worried he's eavesdropping on our conversation?" Vegeta quickly realized. "You're sharp." Ren praised Vegeta with a thumbs up. "TCH, I don't need your compliments." Vegeta snorted and casually asked, "So, what's the name of that unique planet you mentioned?" "That's planet Namek," Ren said slowly. "Vast starry sky, boundless universe." Frieza's spaceship. Frieza was still sitting in the baby carriage with a faint smile on his face. However, beneath Frieza's smile, there was a hint of coldness. Frieza, according to the latest intelligence, for many spherical spaceships have separated from Vegeta's spaceship, the subordinate reported. Nappa, Raditz, and 2 other unimportant Scions are on these 4 spherical spaceships, leaving. "Oh, separated?" Frieza narrowed his eyes. "It seems the Scion Prince and the former genius warrior Ren intend to act alone," Barablu said thoughtfully. Dodoria, Zarbon, Frisia called. After the words fell, Dodoria and Zarbon quickly walked in from outside, bowing immediately to Frisia. Dodoria and Zarbon were two brothers, almost indistinguishable, with broad bodies, pink skin, and unsightly lumps on their skin. You two act separately, one to kill the two unimportant scions besides Nappa and Raditz, and the other to bring Vegeta and Rin to me. Frisia made a quick decision, smiling sinisterly. Although they're just two unimportant monkeys, bring them back for me to keep as pets. Yes, Lord Frisia, Dodoria, and Zarbon bowed together. I'll let them know that no matter what schemes they hatch, nothing matters in the face of absolute power. Frisia chuckled. Dodoria and Zarbon remained silent. Go. Frisia waved his hand. As they left, don't underestimate them. Frisia added. The two brothers left and headed for the spaceship's launch bay. Hey, Dodoria, how about I go catch Vegeta? Zarbon suggested. Dodoria, with your power, aren't you afraid of messing up? Dodoria snorted. You should understand that Monkey Vegeta's power level is at least 15,000. My power level is 17,000, 2,000 higher than his. Zarbon confidently patted his chest, the lumps on his body trembling slightly. Don't forget, there's also Run, the former genius warrior, whose power level once reached 20,000. Dodoria frowned. Bro, don't worry. That kid Run has been disabled, hasn't he? Zarbon smiled. Dodoria fell into thought, somewhat hesitant. Dodoria, my good brother, trust me, nothing will happen. Zarbon smiled. Just two scion brats. What could go wrong? Then be careful. Don't be careless. Dodoria finally made up his mind, nodding in agreement. Wait for my good news. Zarbon entered one of the spherical spaceships. Ren's spaceship. Planet Namek? What's so special about that planet? Vegeta blinked. You'll find out when we get there. Ren smiled. So secretive. Vegeta snorted, rolling his eyes involuntarily. Ren didn't mind Vegeta's words because he knew Vegeta's stubborn nature. Ren liked Vegeta's stubbornness. If he trained him to be an obedient little lamb, he wouldn't be Vegeta. But speaking of which, Ren, your healing technique was tailored for this prince. Vegeta's face lit up with excitement, eyes filled with endless anticipation. As long as we cooperate well, the universe will be ours in the future. Why become the emperor of the universe? I'll appoint you as my grand general. After saying that, Vegeta seemed a bit thirsty, walking to the counter of the spaceship, pouring a glass of water and gulping it down. Ren didn't pay attention to Vegeta's words, but sighed softly. Looking at Vegeta, he asked, My prince, what is your greatest wish? My greatest wish? Why are you asking that? Vegeta finished his water and wiped the water stains from the corner of his mouth, slightly puzzled. Ren smiled mysteriously, lowering his voice. Think about it carefully. It's related to our trip to Namek. Planet Namek? Wish. Vegeta fell into thought. What does Planet Namek have to do with my wish? I can't figure it out. What is my greatest wish? I remember. My greatest wish is, of course, to become a Super Saiyan. Vegeta hurriedly said. Can Namek help me fulfill this wish? Such things don't need Namek's help. I can help you with that, Ren replied. You? Can you make me a Super Saiyan? Don't joke with me. Vegeta snorted. If you can make me a Super Saiyan, why don't you become one yourself first? I'm not interested in Super Saiyans, Ren said. Then what are you interested in? Vegeta asked curiously. Angels, Ren said. Angels again? Is it that kind of angelic power you mentioned? Vegeta was surprised. That miraculous power with healing abilities? Ren didn't respond. Weird guy, not even interested in Super Saiyans. Vegeta muttered quietly, then curiously asked, So tell me, how can one become a Super Saiyan? Chapter 7. Someone is chasing you. To become a Super Saiyan, the first thing you must do is to possess a peaceful heart, sighed Ren. So from now on, you must keep your mind peaceful. I don't want to keep a peaceful heart. You're deceiving me. That's the foundation of cultivating angelic power. I don't want to be a healer. I want to be a powerful warrior. A warrior who rubs Frisia on the ground. Vegeta looked up at the stars. eyes filled with endless anticipation. At this age, Vegeta was most prone to fantasies, so much so that he still lived in illusions even as an adult. Rin suddenly turned his head and glanced behind him. What's wrong? Vegeta also turned to look behind. Somebody's catching up, Rin suddenly said. What? Someone's coming after us? Is it Frisia's men? Vegeta was slightly stunned, immediately picking up the detector and putting it on his eyes. Beep beep. Instantly, the detector displayed a combat power value. What? Combat power 17,000. Vegeta's face changed drastically, his voice trembling. 2,000 higher than yours, Rin said calmly. Vegeta mechanically turned his head, looking at Rin with some fear, gritting his teeth and tightly clenching his fists. It's Shalot's brother Shallow, isn't it? What does Frisia want? Perhaps he just wants us to have tea and chat, Rin smiled. Do you think that's possible? Vegeta immediately removed the detector, covered the microphone, and rolled his eyes. Quick, find a planet with a moon to land on. This prince will transform into a giant ape and annihilate him. No need for that. You forgot I can heal. Rin smiled indifferently. As long as he heavily injures you, I'll give you treatment, and your combat power will increase significantly. Vegeta's eyes lit up immediately, foolishly smiling at the starry sky outside. Right? I have an excellent healer. What else do I have to fear? Wait, you don't have a detector. How do you know someone's chasing us? Vegeta asked strangely. I told you before, don't rely on the detector, Rin smiled. You need to learn to sense the opponent's aura to know their strength and position. What? There's such a magical skill. Vegeta was amazed. You still have a lot to learn, Rin smiled slightly. You act like you know so much more than me. Vegeta rolled his eyes. Don't be stingy. Find a planet to land on. After all, Saiyans can't survive in space. It's our biggest weakness, Rin sighed helplessly. Although Rin could already condense the low-purity angelic power, but it didn't mean Rin had become an angel and could survive in space. That was unrealistic. If you want to become a true angel, there's still a long way to go. At least understanding the true essence of freedom is the first step. Rin roughly estimated that if the purity of the angelic power was cultivated to around 10, it should be able to activate the Super Saiyan God mode. When the purity of the angelic power reached around 15, it could probably activate the Super Saiyan Blue. When the purity of the angelic power was cultivated to around 20, it could approximately activate the sign of true freedom. When the purity of the angelic power was cultivated to 30, it should be able to activate true freedom, which is the silver-haired state. Of course, these were just Rin's calculations. Is there any connection between cultivating angelic power and the Super Saiyan God? Of course, there's a connection. The Super Saiyan God is the first step for Saiyans to become gods. This is a small step that transforms energy into divine power. In previous life, Rin often saw Dragon Ball fans debating about Super Saiyan 4 and the Super Saiyan God. The main content of the debate was whether Super Saiyan 4 was stronger or Super Saiyan God was stronger. Simply put, Super Saiyan 4 results from energy quantity change, while Super Saiyan God is a process of energy quality change. To say which one is stronger in Rin's view, under similar foundations, in terms of transformation, Super Saiyan 4 strength is greater than or equal to Super Saiyan Blue. Why is it greater? Because Super Saiyan 4 can maintain the transformation for a longer period. Even if one falls into a coma, they can still maintain that state. But Super Saiyan Blue cannot. Therefore, even if the strengths of both sides are equal in terms of endurance, Super Saiyan Blue might lose. Of course, these were just some of Rin's speculations from the previous life. Whether they were accurate or not is uncertain. Since Rin has now crossed into the Dragon Ball world, confirming which side is stronger is a good opportunity. Rin thinks letting Vegeta take the path of Super Saiyan 4 is the best choice. But before that, Saiyans' most glaring weakness must be addressed. As a warrior race, Saiyans can't even survive in space. This is what Rin complained about the most. Shallow, why are you chasing us? Vegeta has already contacted Shalot through the detector. Vegeta, Lord Frisia orders you and run to return to see him immediately. Shalot ordered. Where I go is none of his business. Vegeta snorted. In that case, I'll personally take you back, Shalot coldly snorted. According to my investigation, there doesn't seem to be any planet with a moon nearby, right? Your spaceship isn't as fast as mine. You, Enrin, better be honest with me. Even if there's no moon, I can still beat you to a pulp. Vegeta sneered. How about we fight on that planet ahead? Oh, looks like you're quite confident, Vegeta, Shalot laughed. Zoom, zoom. Two spaceships streaked across the starry sky, flying swiftly towards a distant brownish-yellow planet. After about a minute, the spaceships landed on the planet. Creak, the spaceship hatch opened. Rin and Vegeta flew out of the spaceship. Following Rin's suggestion this time, Vegeta didn't bring the detector. Vegeta also didn't want Frieza to know about Rin's healing ability. The two sides quickly met. Vegeta, you'd better look at your combat power. Shalot lightly chuckled. My combat power is 17,000. Yours is only 15,000. I have to say, as the Prince of Science, your combat power is remarkable. And your combat power value has surpassed King Vegeta's, hasn't it? Chapter 8. Are you treating Vegeta? What's this? Vegeta snorted. Run? This former genius warrior. Now his combat effectiveness is only 100? You are a genius. The more you practice, the lower your combat effectiveness is. Xiao Shaolin sighed with endless contempt. Rin ignored him and didn't bother to do it himself. What a good thing it is to have a little brother who likes fighting by your side. You two come together. Young Shalot sneered, waving to Rin and Vegeta. No need. I'm enough to deal with a guy like you. Vegeta snorted coldly, and the energy in his body exploded. Bright flames bloomed and quickly spread all over his body. Immediately afterwards, Vegeta turned into a stream of light and quickly rushed toward Shalot. Whoops! The next moment, Vegeta's figure flashed and disappeared directly opposite Shalot. In just a moment, Vegeta appeared behind Shalot. Boom! Vegeta quickly punched Shalot on the waist. Shalot threw herself forward. Vegeta followed up and opened a big kick at Shalot, kicking him high. Whoops! Vegeta rose into the sky, and with a movement of his body, he quickly appeared directly above Shalot. Boom! Vegeta used an upside-down golden hook and hit young Shalot in the chest. Suddenly, Shalot fell from the sky like a cannonball, hitting the ground heavily and leaving a sizable human-shaped crater. Vegeta fell from the sky and stepped on Shalot's head with a fierce kick. Click! Vegeta crushed the detector worn on young Shalot's eyes to pieces. Vegeta took off again, flying to a high altitude, and energy bombs were sprayed out from his hands. The energy bombs covered Shalot below. Boom! The place where Shalot was filled with dust and rocks. Snap! Vegeta fell opposite Shalot. Vegeta panted heavily, feeling waves of exhaustion. Just now, Vegeta could be said to have outputted his energy to the extreme. After the smoke gradually dissipated, the safe and sound body of young Shalot was revealed. No, it can't be said to be safe and sound. Young Shalot looked disgraced, and her armor had been beaten to pieces by Vegeta. But Shalot was not seriously injured. After all, the difference in combat power is 2,000, which is quite a big gap. Not bad, Vegeta. The attack just now was very rhythmic. Young Shalot smiled contemptuously and patted the dust on his body. What? Vegeta's expression changed again and again. How's it going? Your attack doesn't seem to be working, Vegeta. Young Shalot walked towards Vegeta's direction. Damn it. Vegeta gritted his teeth, raised his hand, and sprayed an energy bomb at young Shalot. Boom! Young Shalot slapped her hard, knocking away the energy bombs sprayed by Vegeta. Vegeta's pupils shrank together, and his face became increasingly ugly. It's my turn to attack now, right? Vegeta. Young Shalot laughed and walked step by step in Vegeta's direction. No! Vegeta gritted his teeth, rushed forward quickly, and punched Shalot in the head. Snap! Young Shalot raised her hand slightly and caught Vegeta's attacking fist with her palm. What? Vegeta, is this your attack? It seems that there is a difference of 2,000 combat power. This difference is not small. Shalot laughed. Vegeta's expression was horrid. Boom! Young Shallot slammed Vegeta's head with her forehead. Ah! Vegeta let out a scream, and blood flowed from his forehead. Boom! Young Shallot had nothing to be polite about, so she kicked Vegeta high. Immediately afterwards, Shallot quickly rose into the sky and appeared directly above Vegeta. Ah! Young Shallot laughed wildly and kicked Vegeta on the waist. Ouch! Vegeta screamed again, and his whole body fell from the sky like a meteor. Boom! Vegeta hit the planet's ground hard, causing the ground to shake violently and leaving a big crater on the ground. Snapped! Young Shallot fell on the pit's edge and stepped hard on the ground. Vegeta was forcefully shaken out of the pit by Shallot and flew up to a height. Snap! Young Shallot grabbed Vegeta's tail and picked it up. Hey, don't die, Vegeta. My little Saiyan prince, Frigiano, asked me to take him back alive. Young Shallot said, not being polite, and said in Vegeta was lightly slapped twice on the face. Young Shallot was not cruel with these 2 slaps for fear of accidentally slapping him to death. After all, Frieza didn't want Vegeta's life for now. He just ordered Shallot to take Vegeta and run back. Ah! Vegeta spurted blood from his mouth, feeling that his life was coming to an end. However, Vegeta thought Rin, a powerful healer, had the backing and did not give up. Hey! Vegeta opened his mouth wide and bit Shallot's hand. Young Shallot screamed and slammed Vegeta to the ground with all her strength. After Vegeta landed, he crawled towards Run in embarrassment. Are you a dog? Young Shallot rubbed the hand that Vegeta bit. Her teeth itched with hatred and said coldly, I didn't expect you still have the strength to run away, but you can run. Out of my hand. With that said, Xiao Shaolin glanced at Ren with a smile. Hey, Ren, the former genius boy, are you coming with me? Or will you let me fix you up like Vegeta and then come with me to meet Lord Frieza? Young Shallot asked with interest. Rendao, wait a moment, Ren said, gently raising his right hand, and a ball of turbid angelic power appeared in his hand. Suddenly, flames as bright as stars quickly covered Vegeta's body. Vegeta's injuries also healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. What are you doing? Young Shallot was stunned momentarily, suddenly feeling that something was not quite right. It's okay. Just wait a moment. Wait a moment. It'll be fine soon. Rin grinned. Are you treating Vegeta? Young Shallot was not stupid and reacted quickly. Chapter 9. It's great to have treatment. Chapter 9. Vegeta turns defeat into victory. Congratulations, you answered correctly. Rin nodded. What? Saiyans also know how to heal. Young Shallot was stunned momentarily and frowned. So, you don't want to improve your combat power just to learn to heal? Okay, Vegeta. Rin greeted Vegeta. Snapped. Vegeta jumped up from the ground, quickly checked his body, and his face suddenly showed endless surprise. What? Is this cured? Shallot's brows were tightly knitted together. It's not bad, Rin said with a smile. So what if you know how to heal? Even if Vegeta recovers 2 or 3 times, he is no match for me. Shallot smiled contemptuously and pointed his hand at Ren's body. However, I won't let you treat him again. Before that, I'll beat you until you can't care for yourself. Boom! As he spoke, Shallot sprayed an energy bomb from his hand. Energy bombs roared towards Ren's direction. Ren didn't even try to hide. Hey! Vegeta shouted, slapped him hard, and directly shot the energy bomb sprayed by Shallot into the sky. What? Young Shallot was stunned, but didn't expect Vegeta to be so fierce. Because in Shallot's view, the energy intensity of the energy bomb just released could seriously injure both of them. Of course, Vegeta might hide away. However, what surprised Xiao Shallot was that Vegeta did not hide, but slapped away the energy bomb he released. Whoops! Vegeta turned into a bright stream of light, rushed forward quickly, and hit Shallot hard on the chest with his head. Uft! Young Shallot spat out a large mouthful of blood, and her face instantly turned pale. Vegeta threw an uppercut and hit Shallot's chin on the spot. Young Shallot rolled somersaults in the air and suddenly fell to the ground, feeling bad all over. Bah! Vegeta spat with a proud expression on his face. Shalat wiped the blood from her mouth, climbed up from the ground with difficulty, looked at Vegeta with some disbelief, and then looked at Rin near Vegeta, momentarily confused. How is this possible? Young Shalat looked shocked and asked strangely, "Why do I feel that your combat effectiveness has improved?" Young Shalat, don't you know? Vegeta chuckled. What do you know? Young Shalat was stunned. When we Saiyans are reborn on the verge of death, our combat effectiveness will greatly improve. Vegeta laughed. What did you say? Young Shalat's expression changed again and again. Run, can you sense my combat power? Vegeta asked. About 18,000. Rin muttered. What? Only increased by 3,000. Vegeta felt a little unhappy. Not bad. I'm afraid it won't grow again in the future. Rindao. Vegeta, what's the meaning? What does it mean that it will never grow again? Vegeta didn't think much about it. 3,000, just 3,000. Now my combat power is 18,000, which is 1,000 higher than this guy. It's more than enough to deal with him. It is said to be 1,000 higher in combat power, but Vegeta has an absolute advantage in the calculation. Before this, Shalat had fought, and her energy was consumed. Her combat effectiveness declined, and she was also injured. But Vegeta has completely recovered. Not only has he returned to his peak, but his combat effectiveness has also improved. Combat strength, 18,000? This is impossible. This is impossible, young Shalat shouted, her eyes full of disbelief. You'll know right away whether it's possible or not. Vegeta snorted coldly and quickly rushed to the opposite side of Shalat. Young Shalat was extremely shocked. Her pupils were filled with endless fear. Go to hell. Vegeta kicked Shalat, forcing him to fly high into the air. Boom! Vegeta released his energy to the extreme, and the huge energy instantly swallowed Shalat. After everything calmed down, Vegeta bombed Shalat into pieces. Oh! Vegeta was panting heavily, and his energy was also consumed tremendously. If you want to eliminate Shalat, you need to pay a very high price. It can be said that Vegeta's energy has bottomed out. Quick, Rin, help me restore my energy, Vegeta ordered Rin. Vegeta, don't rely on my healing skills for everything. Rin sighed. For things like this to restore energy, just chew a chicken drumstick and eat something to recover. Vegeta, forget it. Vegeta didn't want to ask for help either. Now that young Shalat is dead, Frieza may locate us through the positioning system on our spaceship. Rin pondered. It seems that we have to find a way to destroy the positioning system on the spacecraft. No need to go to so much trouble. Vegeta smiled proudly. I suddenly thought of a good way. Maybe I could defeat Frieza's guy. Oh, what? Rin asked. You beat me half to death and then heal me. This way, my combat effectiveness will continue to improve. Vegeta showed a face of fanaticism, and his immature face was filled with endless expectations. Ahem, such a good request. This is the first time I've heard of it. Rin sighed. With treatment like yours, I will grow into a Super Saiyan very quickly. Vegeta laughed loudly, stepped forward and patted Rin on the shoulder. Don't worry, Rin. Wait until I become a Super Saiyan. I will never treat you badly when you become #1 in the universe. It's not impossible to let me beat you half to death. Rin gently shook his head. Is there any problem? Vegeta was stunned. I think you must figure something out first. Rin replied. What's the matter? Vegeta asked strangely. Do you know what Frieza's combat power is? Rin asked. How many can there be? 200,000 at most. Vegeta guessed and smiled proudly. As long as my combat power exceeds 20,000, I can turn him into a giant ape and press him to the ground and rub him. Chapter 10. Do you know Frieza's fighting power? You underestimate Frieza too much. Rin shook his head slowly. Then tell me, what is Frieza's power level? Vegeta asked. Rin slowly extended 5 fingers. What? 500,000. Vegeta's face slightly changed, but he wasn't too shocked. He lowered his head and analyzed. This guy's power level exceeds my imagination. I must raise my power level to over 50,000 and transform into a great ape to compete with him. You could transform into a great ape, but Frieza won't transform, right? Rin added lightly. What did you say? Frieza can transform? How is that possible? Vegeta's expression was stunned, showing disbelief. As far as I know, Frieza not only can transform, but also multiple times, Rin sighed. What? He could transform multiple times. Vegeta couldn't help trembling. At least 3 times, Rin said. Vegeta fell silent, his face turning unpleasant. As for power level after the first transformation, it seems his power level can reach 1 million, Rin added. What? A power level of 1 million. Vegeta's voice raised several decibels. No need to be so surprised, Rin said. Vegeta was puzzled. Because there's more to come, Rin replied. Vegeta remained silent. The second transformation, the power level is at least 2 million, Rin continued. Vegeta felt unnatural, his expression somewhat frozen. The third transformation, the base power level is about 3 million, Rin said. 3 million. Vegeta's face turned pale. So, my base power level needs to be at least 300,000 to be able to contend with this guy. I'm not finished yet, Rin smiled. Vegeta fell silent. This is just Frieza's base power. If he increases all his energy, his maximum power level can reach 120 million, Rin said calmly. Vegeta's mouth twitched, his body shivering slightly, sitting down with a pale face. Vegeta gasped heavily, feeling almost suffocated. A power level of 120 million? Is it real? If all of this is true, I feel like he could kill me with just a fart. Vegeta's mindset collapsed. If this is true, then how terrifying of a monster he is. Silent for 20 seconds, Vegeta slowly came to his senses, rolled his eyes, and glanced at Ron. This is impossible. You're making this up? Stop scaring people. I'm not lying to you. Beerus, the god of destruction, and his attendant, Whis, were chatting. I overheard. Rin casually made up a reason. What? Beerus, the god of destruction? He said that. Vegeta looked astonished. These are not the main points. Rin shook his head. Vegeta was confused. After saying so much, are these not the main points? Isn't Frieza's high power level the main point? The main point is with his power level, how often do you have to be severely injured to surpass him? Rin sighed. Let me calculate if you're lucky. And each time you only increase by 3,000 points of power, how many times in total? Vegeta felt another pang. If each time increases by 3,000 power level points, it would take 1,000 severe injuries to reach 3 million. 10,000 severe injuries to reach 300 million. Vegeta's mindset was almost unbearable. 10,000 severe injuries. Who could endure that? In reality, Vegeta didn't know that near-death experiences sometimes double power levels upon recovery. Sometimes it only increases by a tiny bit, but sometimes it increases by dozens of times. Like Goku in the plot, in his battle against Captain Ginyu on Namek. At that time, Goku's base power level was about 180,000. After being severely injured by Vegeta and placed in a healing chamber, his base power level increased to 3 million when Goku's injuries were healed. Vegeta was similar, but his increases were slightly less than Goku's. When Vegeta went to Earth, his power level was 18,000. After a near-death experience and recovery, his power level increased to about 24,000. After the battle with Cyberman, where Vegeta was severely injured and healed, his power level increased to around 35,000. Later, Vegeta encountered the Ginyu Force and was severely injured again, and after recovery, his power level skyrocketed, estimated to be over 500,000. This increase in power level gave Vegeta the confidence to confront Frieza, whose power level reached 530,000. Later, Vegeta was hit hard by Krillin, and after Den's healing, his power level increased to about 2.5 million. Despite this, Vegeta still wasn't a match for Frieza's fourth form. But in the later stages, neither Goku, Vegeta, nor Gohan could increase their energy through near-death experiences, because there is a limit to this kind of increase. They've already reached their limit in training, and, as far as I know, there's a limit to the power level increase through this method. After reaching a certain limit, It won't increase anymore, Rin sighed, patting Vegeta's shoulder, advising, so don't take shortcuts like this. Training is step by step. It can't be rushed. Vegeta fell silent, his young heart severely wounded. With the power level you mentioned, even becoming a Super Saiyan might not be enough to match that Frieza, right? Vegeta's face was pale. Perhaps becoming a Super Saiyan is a transformation? Rin smiled. Vegeta was stunned. For example, after transforming into a Super Saiyan, strength increases by 50 times. Rin smiled. So, based on this, what power level would you need to rub Frieza's face in the dirt? 3 million. Vegeta immediately answered. Congratulations, you're correct, Rin nodded. Vegeta, baseless nonsense, Vegeta snorted. Is becoming a Super Saiyan a transformation? Let's go. There's no need to dwell on this question. Rin walked in the direction of the spacecraft. Chapter 11. I'm afraid I can't become a Super Saiyan. Vegeta quickly followed up and asked eagerly. So what about you, Lord Run? Me? Rin was taken aback. Will you continue to be this healer? Vegeta inquired. Don't you want to become a Super Saiyan? No, Rin replied bluntly. Vegeta was speechless. With my current state, I'm afraid I can no longer become a Super Saiyan. Rin shook his head. Is it because your power level is not enough? Vegeta asked. Yes. Rin nodded, adding, but I might become a Super Saiyan God. Vegeta fell silent. You really can talk, he sighed. I can't keep up with you. Let's compare and see who's better, a Super Saiyan or a Super Saiyan God. Vegeta snorted, despite being a child. Although his mindset had just faltered, he quickly dismissed the terrifying power level of Frieza. Is there even a need to compare? Rin smiled. Super Saiyan God has 2 more words than Super Saiyan. So, of course, Super Saiyan God is more powerful. Do you have to compare like that? Vegeta grumbled. Rin ignored Vegeta, appearing directly next to the spacecraft. Anyway, how should we destroy the positioning system of our spacecraft? Vegeta asked. If it doesn't work, we can find a scientist to see if they can locate the locator inside the spacecraft. I'll try first, Rin said, slowly raising his hand and placing it on the spacecraft. Snap! Rin released a murky angelic power from his hand. In just an instant, the angelic power covered the spacecraft. What? Can your so-called angelic power also destroy the positioning system of the spacecraft? Vegeta was astonished. All right, it's been destroyed. Rin nodded. What? That easy? Vegeta widened his eyes, immediately flying to the spacecraft where Fascia was. He was manipulating the console several times, trying to locate his spacecraft. Beep lost connection. Please search again. The display showed this line. Vegeta's face was astonished, a little stunned. Is that all? Phew. Vegeta quickly returned to Rin's side, looking at Rin and asking, do you usually study scientific techniques? Let's go. Rin didn't answer that question. Rin just tried to find the positioning system of the spacecraft with his angelic power, but he unexpectedly found it. Since he found it, it was too easy to destroy it. Rin used a bit of angelic power to destroy the locator. Rin wanted to destroy the spacecraft's locator not because he was afraid of Frieza. Rin didn't want Frieza to harass Namek during this period. After all, Rin was going to Namek with Vegeta next. If Frieza knew Rin's whereabouts, he would send someone to chase them. It's troublesome to have so many annoying flies following them. Nowadays, Rin has a major shortcoming. That is, he cannot survive in space. If he encounters an opponent like Frieza, if Frieza is not in a playful mood, he will directly destroy the planet where Rin lives. So, even if Rin can condense angelic power, he will die in space. Although angelic power can also be transformed into air, how long can it last in space? So now, what Rin wants to do most is to quickly find a way to solve this shortcoming. Rin has already figured out the solution. That is, through the Dragon of Namek, he makes a wish to the dragon and lets himself have the ability to survive in space. With the ability of the Dragon of Namek, it should be easy to fulfill this wish. Rin and Vegeta set foot on the spacecraft. Phew! The spacecraft turned into a bright stream of light, quickly leaving this yellowish-brown planet and flying into the starry sky, entering space. Namek, here I come. Another star field. A certain planet. Dodoria easily wiped out the other two Scions, except for Raditz and Nappa. Nappa and Raditz trembled in fear. After all, Dodoria's power level was there, reaching a height of 23,000. This is the consequence of your unauthorized actions. Dodoria's face was cold as he squinted at Nappa and Raditz. Nappa and Raditz's mouths twitched continuously, their faces sweating profusely. But Lord Frisia is still very kind. As long as you two behave well, he won't harm you. Dodoria smiled. Nappa and Raditz said nothing. Keep in touch and come when called. Obey Lord Frisia's orders. Can you do it? Dodoria asked with a smile. Nappa and Raditz nodded vigorously. That's good. Dodoria stepped forward. Nappa and Raditz's bodies trembled even more violently, as if their legs were no longer obedient. In the face of absolute strength, the two knew very well that even if they tried to escape, they would be caught and killed. All right, I'm leaving. Take care of yourselves. After saying this, Dodoria didn't continue to trouble them, boarding the spacecraft and leaving. After entering the spacecraft, Dodoria immediately tried to contact his younger brother, Fascia. However, there was no signal from Fascia's side. What's going on? Dodoria suddenly had a bad feeling. Could it be that my brother has already been in an accident? Dodoria became even more uneasy. Immediately after, Dodoria pressed a few times on the spacecraft's control panel. Snap! In just an instant, the control panel displayed the location of Fascia's spacecraft. Dodoria then searched for Ren's spacecraft. Beep! Lost connection. Please search again. Dodoria paused slightly, his face changing color. After a brief hesitation, Dodoria immediately contacted Frisia's spacecraft. Frisia sat in a baby carriage, looking out of the window at the blue Vegeta planet. The Vegeta planet had a bit of an Earth-like color from this area, shining like a sapphire. Note: in the earliest theatrical version, the color of the Vegeta planet was somewhat similar to Jupiter. However, in the later Broly theatrical version, the color of the Vegeta planet was changed to blue. The settings of this book are based on the latest theatrical version of the Dragon Ball Super manga. Lord Frisia, Dodoria has completed the mission and is returning. Berry Blue approached respectfully and said, Chapter 12. He will become your rival. Does he have any other business? Frisia asked without turning his head. He said his brother, Goku, has lost contact, and Vegeta's spaceship has completely lost contact too, Berry Blue replied. Our technicians investigated and found that Vegeta's spaceship has gone missing. Oh, so they've sabotaged the positioning system. Frisia wasn't particularly surprised. Possibly, Berry Blue nodded. Instruct them to report immediately as soon as their whereabouts are discovered. Frisia commanded Berry Blue. Yes, Lord Frisia. Berry Blue bowed. So Goku may have been killed by Vegeta and Raditz, right? Frisia's face darkened, his eyes narrowed, anger evident. Frisia wasn't angry because he lost a subordinate. He might have underestimated Vegeta and Raditz, those two little scions. Dodoria, apply to check the location of Raditz's spaceship, Berry Blue continued. Let him go. Frisia nodded, not objecting. An hour later, a flat, circular spaceship landed on the planet where Raditz and the others had landed before. Dodoria quickly found his brother's spaceship. Then, Dodoria looked around and found traces left by Vegeta and Raditz during the battle. Among these traces, Dodoria keenly discovered the remains left by Raditz. Dodoria picked up a piece of his brother's skull, his face becoming unusually grim. Raditz, you idiot. I told you to be careful, but you didn't listen. As a result, you were killed by that guy, Vegeta. Dodoria clenched his fists tightly, trembling with anger. Immediately after, Dodoria stayed no longer and boarded the spaceship to leave the planet. Vegeta, Raditz, you two wait for me. I will destroy both of you. I will avenge my brother. Dodoria shouted in the spaceship, venting his anger. Raditz and Vegeta's spaceship continued to speed through space. Raditz also destroyed the monitoring system on Vegeta's detector. This angelic power was indeed handy to use. truly worthy of being divine power. So, you mean on Namek, any wish can be granted? Vegeta's face showed surprise. Yes, that thing is called the Dragon Balls, Raditz introduced with a smile. A total of 3 wishes can be granted. One for each of us. Have you thought about your wish? My wish is, of course, to become a Super Saiyan. What's so strange about that? Vegeta answered without hesitation, then couldn't help but ask Raditz, is your wish to become the god of Super Saiyans? No, I just want the ability to survive in space. Nothing more, Raditz replied. Surviving in space? Is this wish worth it? All style, no substance. Vegeta looked at Raditz with some curiosity. I don't want to die in space one day, Raditz smiled. It's up to you. Vegeta shook his head, thinking Raditz was too foolish, then muttered under his breath. I've heard that Namekians have various magical abilities, but I didn't expect them to create Dragon Balls to grant 3 wishes. So, after you arrive on Namek, be polite to the people on that planet. If you act arrogantly and recklessly, you won't get any wishes, Raditz instructed again. I don't need you to teach me how to do things. Of course, I know what to do. Vegeta stood at the window, looking at the vast expanse of space, and couldn't help but hum. As he spoke, Vegeta suddenly noticed a spherical spaceship passing by in the starry sky, flying swiftly in another direction. Vegeta looked into the distance, and the moment the spaceship turned, he saw a child inside the spaceship. That is a Saiyan. Vegeta was stunned, picked up the detector, and pressed a button. Beat power level 2. Vegeta quickly detected the opponent's power level value through the detector. Vegeta, I remember now that little guy is Bardock's son. What's his name? Vegeta pondered softly. Goku, Raditz said. Yes, Goku, a lower-class warrior, so pitiful, with a power level of only 2. Vegeta shook his head. Really embarrassing for our Saiyan race. Sometimes lower-class warriors can surpass elite warriors through hard training, Raditz replied. Don't talk nonsense. That's impossible. Vegeta snorted, expressing disbelief. Vegeta, mark my words. That guy called Goku may become your lifelong rival in love and kill, Raditz sighed. Vegeta, a lifelong rival in love? Is Goku a girl? Vegeta was stunned. No, I saw he was a boy. Raditz silently wiped his sweat. What? Do you think that guy will become my rival? Vegeta looked disdainful. He will, Raditz nodded. Baseless nonsense, Vegeta snorted. Where is he going? Was he just exiled from the Saiyan planet by King Vegeta? Or did Bardock secretly release him? Look at the trajectory of that spaceship. There's a good chance he's going to Earth, Raditz said. Vegeta investigated Earth's data and looked disappointed. This planet is of little value, but the food on the planet is quite abundant. Pause. Vegeta continued. I understand now. It should be Goku's father who thinks his son is too useless and can't bear the cruel competition among Saiyans. So he's exiled to that planet like my brother Tarble. King Vegeta thinks he's useless, so he's exiled to a planet with few resources. Raditz said nothing more, but continued to study his angelic power. I'll go take a nap first. Vegeta ran to the sleeping cabin to sleep. Days passed by. 10 days later, Raditz stood at the window of the spaceship and saw a larger green planet appearing in the distant area. It was indeed Namek. Chapter 13. Why has your fighting power disappeared? Vegeta followed over to take a look and couldn't help but say, this planet is not small. However, Vegeta checked Ren's combat power value with the detector after speaking. With just one look, Vegeta couldn't help but pat the detector and look confused. What's going on? Why isn't your combat power showing on the detector? Is it malfunctioning? Vegeta took off the detector from his eyes and carefully inspected it. Because I no longer have combat power, Ren smiled faintly. What did you say? You have no combat power? What does that mean? Vegeta was stunned. Just what it means literally, Ren said. From your expression, you seem quite excited. Vegeta was speechless, looking at Ren as if he were a fool. It doesn't matter, Ren chuckled. After 10 training days, Ren finally dissipated all the energy within him. Now, Ren only possessed divine power, and after eliminating all energy, the purity of Ren's angelic power suddenly surged from 1 to 5. It seems that the energy he cultivated before still influenced the purity of the angelic power. The purity of the angelic power is now at 5. From now on, let me focus on cultivating angelic power. There's no more excess energy to distract this angelic power. Remember, be polite to the Namekians when you see them. Got it? Ren looked at the distant Namek and reminded Vegeta again. "Oomph. Are you trying to teach me?" Vegeta snorted, looking displeased. "Let's go land on Namek." Ren didn't say much, controlling the spaceship to slowly land on Namek and appear near a village. The spaceship stabilized and the hatch opened. Ren and Vegeta flew out of the spaceship and appeared in the village. At this time, the adults in the village had gone out to work, leaving only 3 elderly people sunbathing in the village. With Ren's spaceship landing here, the 3 Namekian elders had noticed, immediately getting up from their seats, their faces becoming serious. When they saw Ren and Vegeta appear, the elders in the village changed their expressions, looking somewhat wary at Ren and Vegeta. "Who are you? What are you doing on Namek?" Ren looked at the 3 Namekians and quickly identified one of them. He was Elder Muri. After the death of the Grand Elder of Namek, Elder Muri would become the new Grand Elder. As for the other 2 Namekian elders, Ren found that one of them seemed a bit weak. When he got up just now, he almost fell to the ground, but fortunately, he was supported by his companion. "Let me look. Their combat powers are 300, 400, and 500. Vegeta pressed the detector's button, quickly detecting Elder Muri's combat power values and the other 2 Namekian elders. "Hello, we are Saiyans," Cameron said. However, before Ren could finish speaking, Vegeta interrupted him. "Oomph. We're here on Namek to make wishes. Bring out your Dragon Balls that can grant wishes and let this prince see them," Vegeta said unceremoniously. "Ren, what did I say before?" Ren scolded. "Oomph. This prince doesn't need others to tell him what to do." Vegeta snorted. Swish. Ren moved instantly, appearing behind Vegeta, his speed so fast that Vegeta didn't even react. Pop! Ren's palm slapped Vegeta's neck, hitting him squarely. Vegeta fell softly to the ground, his consciousness becoming increasingly blurred. The next moment, Vegeta slowly passed out under the gaze of the 3 Namekian elders. "I'm sorry, my companion was too rude." Ren sighed. This Elder Muri was momentarily at a loss for words. "This kid is decisive enough." He knocked out his companion in an instant. "I can sense that your companion is filled with evil energy." Elder Muri paused briefly, looking at the unconscious Vegeta. Ren smiled. Elder Muri glanced at Ren, and then turned to the tail behind Ren. "Are you also a Saiyan? And is there such a charming Saiyan?" "I have a sunny and warm face." Ren grinned, revealing a set of white teeth. "Elder Muri, the 2 elders. This kid knows how to talk. Why are you here?" Elder Muri asked Ren. "I'm here for sightseeing," Ren replied. Elder Muri wiped his sweat silently. "Your companion already said that you're here to find Dragon Balls." Swish! As they were talking, the former Namekian elder suddenly fell to the ground, his body convulsing uncontrollably. "Delta!" The old man next to him exclaimed, his face changing color, hurriedly rushing over to check. "Delta, what's wrong with you?" Elder Muri was also worried, quickly checking. "It's negative energy syndrome again." The old man sighed. "What? When did Delta get sick?" Elder Muri asked solemnly. "I felt something was wrong with him earlier, but he insisted on not saying." The old man shook his head. "I'm afraid he's already." The old man didn't finish his words, but the meaning was already clear. "This Delta, it seems his time is running out." Negative energy syndrome. Ren stepped forward, strangely looking at the old man who had fainted on the ground. The fainted old man had black lines entwined all over his body. Especially on his face, it was shrouded in black clouds. Elder Muri and the old man beside him glanced at Ren, then turned their gaze back to Delta. "It seems like he's been invaded by some strange, evil energy." Ren pondered. "Young man, you're right, because the environment on our planet is relatively harsh, leading to negative energy, which is the evil energy you mentioned," rampant Elder Muri sighed. "Now, quite a few Namekians have similar symptoms, and some have even died. We call this condition negative energy syndrome." Chapter 14. Namek's negative energy. As long as the negative energy on his body is removed, he can be cured, Rin suggested. What you're saying sounds easy. This type of negative energy has already fused with the body. Only a very few Namekians survived because of their strong resistance. At the same time, most Namekians died due to the invasion of this negative energy, the old man said solemnly. I'll try it and see if I can help him remove the negative energy from his body. Rin stepped forward. You? You can remove the negative energy from his body. The old man was taken aback. Don't joke around. Even the Grand Elder has no solution to this negative energy. Young man, we appreciate your kindness, but this negative energy is not easily removed. Muri's expression grew more solemn. Currently, we are cultivating a plant on Namek, and this plant is the best way to eliminate negative energy. However, eliminating the negative energy on Namek will take at least 20 years. These 20 years will be a huge test for us Namekians. Rin fell silent, raising his right hand gently, immediately conjuring a brilliant flame-like light in his hand. Snap! In the next moment, Rin flipped his hand, and the brilliant flame in his hand quickly covered Delta's body. Upon contact with Delta, the brilliant flame swiftly eliminated the black lines on his body. 3 seconds later, the black lines on Delta's body were completely eradicated. Snap! Delta suddenly opened his eyes. Muri and the old man widened their eyes, showing a face of bewilderment. Snap! Delta sprung up from the ground with a fish-like leap. Muri and the old man were startled, almost embracing each other. Cough, don't strain yourself, Rin hurriedly said. What's going on? Delta looked at his body in astonishment. Why do I feel like I've been reborn? Muri, the old man, the two looked at each other, then turned to Rin with a puzzled expression. What do you mean by that? Are you cursing me? Delta said irritably. I feel like I've regained at least 10 years of youth. Just 10 years, it seems my cultivation is far from enough. Rin sighed in disappointment. Rejuvenating with the power of angels is quite simple. Just repair those aging cells with angelic power. However, to Rin's disappointment, he has only rejuvenated the old man by 10 years. The Namekians have relatively long lifespans. Living 300 to 500 years is not a big problem, so 10 years is not much for them. Elder Muri, what is this kid talking about? Delta looked at Rin strangely, then turned to ask Muri. Cough, Muri wiped his sweat silently. The other old man was also speechless. All right, I remember now. I seem to have negative energy syndrome. Delta suddenly came to his senses, looking somewhat surprised at his body. Strange. I feel like my body has completely recovered and the negative energy in my body has completely disappeared. What's going on? Delta, you should thank this young man properly. It's him who helped you clear the negative energy from your body. Muri sighed. It was him who cleared it for me. Delta was stunned for a moment. Muri and the old man nodded together. After a brief hesitation, Delta immediately bowed and apologized. Young man, I'm sorry. Thank you for saving me. No problem. It's just a small effort. Rin smiled faintly, seeming indifferent. Then, Rin looked up at the sky, his expression becoming serious. However, there's quite a bit of negative energy here. No wonder you all fell victim to it. Rin sighed. Let me see if I can completely clear this negative energy. What? Can you clear this negative energy? Muri was astonished. Delta and the other old man were also dumbfounded. I'll give it a try, Rin smiled. The higher the expectations, the greater the disappointment. The 3 old men fell silent. This kid means well, but his speech is a bit awkward. Rin took a deep breath, his expression serious, slowly condensing a brilliant flame-like light between his hands. The size of the brilliant flame was about the same as a Namekian Dragon Ball. Is this size okay? Rin turned to ask the 3 elders. Muri, Delta, and the other old man were also puzzled. What does he mean? How do we know if this size is okay? Change, Rin lightly commanded. Suddenly, the brilliant flame-like light transformed, quickly turning into gold. The golden light ball, upon transforming, immediately emitted a golden light. Change again. Rin controlled the golden light ball and quickly condensed a red, 5-pointed star at its center. Muri widened his eyes. Delta and the other old man were also dumbfounded. Isn't that a Dragon Ball? How does the energy condensed by this kid look so much like a Dragon Ball? Go! Rin raised his hand and threw the condensed Dragon Ball toward the sky. Swoosh! The Dragon Ball, made of angelic power, swiftly soared into the sky, emitting golden light in the air. Then, these angelic powers turned into red streaks of light, shooting towards the planet's surroundings like a red meteor shower. The red meteor shower struck the negative energy, instantly devouring and annihilating it. About an hour later, the angelic power completely eradicated all the negative energy on Namek, and the Dragon Ball in the sky gradually became transparent. Snap! The light ball completed its mission and disappeared completely. All right, there shouldn't be any major problems now. Rin looked up at the sky and said to Muri. Muri was dumbfounded. Delta and the old man beside him also looked astonished. I also cured those who had negative energy syndrome. I don't think there will be any more problems, Rin smiled. Chapter 15. I really didn't come here for Dragon Balls for Rin. This is also a way to cultivate the power of angels. The power of angels needs to be continuously used to better temper it and increase its purity. If it is always left and used, the increase in purity will be slower. This time, Rin helped the Namekians, greatly benefiting them. But Rin himself also gained a lot. Rin feels that he has almost released all the power of angels into his body this time. Perhaps, after recondensing, the purity of the power of angels will increase. Are you an angel? Muri looked at Rin with some excitement. Not yet. Rin shook his head. Rin knew that when Muri mentioned angels, he was referring to the kind of angels who save everything, not the angels of the Dragon Ball world. But Rin's answer referred to the angels of the Dragon Ball world. Muri wiped his sweat. What does your answer mean? What do you mean by not yet? Muri quickly checked the nearby negative energy with the other two elders. The three were pleasantly surprised to find that the negative energy disappeared completely. It was you who eliminated the negative energy in our village. You are our benefactor. Muri was extremely excited, even reaching out to hold Ren's hand warmly. As for Vegeta, lying unconscious on the ground, he was completely ignored by Muri and the other two. Don't mention it. It's nothing. Ren smiled. Being able to help you through a difficult time is considered a good deed for me. Yes, Muri laughed and asked, by the way, I still don't know your name. I'm called Ren. Hello. Ren, I am the elder of this village. I'm called Muri. Elder Muri replied, then pointed to Delta and introduced the other old man. This is Delta, and this is not important. Ren waved his hand. The unnamed old man beside him wiped his sweat vigorously. Why isn't it important when it comes to my introduction? Are you being polite? Ren, did you come to Namek to find the Dragon Balls? Muri asked, friendly. Yes, and also to travel. Ren nodded. The matter of the Dragon Balls is easy to talk about. Since you saved Namek, I have decided to take you to see our Grand Elder. Muri made up his mind. Grand Elder? Ren knowingly asked. Yes, he is the soul of our Namekians, Muri replied. Just as Muri's words fell, a voice suddenly sounded in his mind. Muri's expression immediately became respectful. It's the Grand Elder. Muri quickly said, It's Grand Elder. You already know? What? You want to come in person? All right, I'll wait here for your arrival. Then, Muri seemed to hear another message from the Grand Elder, and his eyes were filled with endless shock. What? Has all the negative energy on Namek disappeared? Muri exclaimed, shouting, Is it true? Muri looked somewhat surprised towards Ren's direction. By condensing such a small energy ball, all the negative energy on Namek disappeared? This little guy is amazing. Okay, I understand. Muri respectfully replied. The call ended there. Run. Did you eliminate all the negative energy on Namek? Muri wiped his sweat. What? All the negative energy disappeared. Delta exclaimed. The other old man didn't speak, but the shock in his eyes was visible. The three elders innocently thought that only the negative energy near the village had been eliminated. But it turned out to be, all the negative energy on Namek has disappeared. A Dragon Ball-sized energy ball easily solved the crisis that had plagued Namek for hundreds of years. Because of this negative energy, many Namekians left their homes, and this planet. Unexpectedly, today, it was completely resolved. If you're going to do it thoroughly. Solving a village's negative energy doesn't count for much. Rin smiled indifferently. The three of Muri didn't want to speak anymore. Why do we feel like you're showing off? I'm not an angel. I'm just an ordinary Saiyan. Rin added. Muri, Delta, the old man. The three fell silent for a moment. We didn't say you were an angel. That was just a metaphor. Cough, cough, Rin. The Grand Elder already knows that you saved our Namek, so he has decided to come and see you in person. Muri said, What? The Grand Elder wants to come in person? Delta and the other old man asked in surprise, but thought nothing was wrong with it. After all, Rin is a benefactor to our Namekians. He resolved the crisis that had plagued Namek for hundreds of years with just a little effort. But the Grand Elder is far away from here. It will take about an hour to arrive. Muri added, This is embarrassing, Rin sighed. Didn't I say it? It's just a matter of raising a hand since he is the Grand Elder of your Namek. I should go to meet him. Saying that, Rin sat down on a nearby chair. Muri, Delta, the old man. The three silently wiped their sweat. You said you would meet our Grand Elder in person. Why did you sit down again? I accidentally sat down. It's really rude. Rin apologized somewhat. Muri and the others were speechless. Suddenly, Rin's eyes lit up, and he turned to look at the Dragon Ball placed on a pillar, pointing towards it. Hey, what's that? That ornament looks unique. Could that be the Dragon Ball? Muri wiped his sweat again. Delta was speechless. The old man remained silent. After a brief hesitation, Muri hurriedly went forward to pick up the Dragon Ball and handed it to Rin with both hands. Is it for me? Rin calmly asked. This is the Dragon Ball, Muri replied. Just as I suspected. Rin looked thoughtfully at the Dragon Ball in Muri's hands. But there are more red stars inside than I guessed. 3 red stars are in it, while my energy ball only has 1. Chapter 16. The detector exploded. There are 7 Dragon Balls, and the stars inside them range from 1 to 7. Muri explained. Got it, Rin nodded. Muri, I said so much, and you just say, got it, thank you. Then I won't be polite, Rin said, taking the Dragon Ball from Muri. Muri smiled, feeling relieved in his heart. He believed that even if the Grand Elder knew he was collecting Dragon Balls, he wouldn't hesitate. After all, it was Rin who saved the entire Namek. This kindness was worth repaying. Besides, even if your wish is excessive, you might be unable to fulfill it. After all, to make a wish, you need to use the Namekian language. And you don't know the Namekian language, so if you want to make a wish, you need us to translate for you. Well run. I'd like to ask if you have any wishes to fulfill by collecting the Dragon Balls. Muri inquired. Elder Muri, my father once told me that learning a foreign language would be very useful. Rin put the Dragon Ball on a nearby table, changed the subject, and looked at Muri. Learning a foreign language? Muri was puzzled. I travel around a lot, and my biggest dream is to master multiple alien languages, Rin replied. Muri suddenly felt something was off. It seems like this kid is leading me into a trap. So, Elder Muri, can you teach me the Namekian language? Rin took advantage of the situation. Before Muri could respond, Delta, who was beside him, patted his chest and volunteered, Of course, no problem. Teaching you the Namekian language is on me. Muri, besides, if you can learn our Namekian language, it's also a pride and honor for us Namekians, Delta chuckled. Muri didn't want to speak anymore. Why do I feel this kid's purpose in learning the Turkish language isn't quite pure? Run. When do you want to learn? Delta asked. Let's do it now, Rin replied. Delta. Cough, what an impatient little guy. Delta wiped his sweat. Then, Delta was not stingy, giving Rin a simple explanation of some features of the Namekian language and its pronunciation. Rin listened attentively and tried hard to learn. An hour quickly passed. Rin had somewhat mastered the Namekian language, although he couldn't converse fluently with the Namekians in their language. Making a wish to the Shinran shouldn't be too much of a problem. The Grand Elder hadn't arrived yet, but Vegeta had rubbed his head and was already awake. As Vegeta opened his eyes, he saw Rin chatting and laughing with 3 Namekians. Vegeta immediately leapt up from the ground and looked angrily at Rin. Just as Vegeta was about to erupt, Rin spoke up. Let me introduce everyone. This is Vegeta, also the Prince of our Saiyans, Rin pointed at Vegeta and introduced. Muri and the others. Is he your prince? You're quite disrespectful to your prince. You even knocked him down with a slap. Run, spare me the sweet talk. Do you know what you did to me just now? Vegeta angrily shouted. Your Highness, I was just testing your reaction so you won't be caught off guard in the future, Rin replied. Nonsense. Vegeta snorted in anger. This is for you, Rin said, picking up the Dragon Ball on the table and throwing it to Vegeta. Vegeta was slightly stunned and immediately caught the Dragon Ball. Then, Vegeta suddenly came to his senses, widened his eyes, and showed a face of excitement, eagerly asking, Is this the Dragon Ball that can grant wishes? Rin quickly nodded. Have you made a wish already? Vegeta asked anxiously. I'm waiting for you, Rin smiled. You're the prince, so even if you want to make a wish, you should go first. Besides, it said that the Dragon Ball will turn into a stone after making a wish. Muri, what are you doing? Your conversation sounds a bit off to me. Why do I feel like you're trying to trick your prince? That's about right. Vegeta's anger gradually dissipated. The next moment, Vegeta showed a proud smile, then burst into laughter, holding the Dragon Ball in his hand and shouting, Let me, Vegeta, become a Super Saiyan. Then, nothing happened. A cool breeze blew, and Vegeta's hair fluttered in the wind. Vegeta glared at Rin, pointing at the Dragon Ball and asking, What's going on? Why isn't there any response? There are a total of 7 Dragon Balls. You need all 7 to make a wish, Rin replied. Why are you in such a hurry? Vegeta felt bad at that moment. Why didn't you say so earlier? Are you playing with me? Vegeta angrily glared at Rin. Someone's coming. Rin's expression also became serious, and he stood up first, turning to look back at the sky. What? Vegeta was taken aback, also looking in the direction Rin was looking. Vegeta, the person coming this time, has a very strong combat power, so please don't act rashly, Rin advised. A very strong combat power? Who are you trying to fool? Are there still powerful guys on Namek? Vegeta snorted disdainfully. Then, Vegeta immediately pressed the detector on his eye. Beep warning, combat power 20,000, 21,000, 22,000. Boom! After the detector gave a few jumps in the readings, it exploded on the spot. Vegeta exclaimed, closed one eye, and looked puzzledly towards the distant sky. Who is it? Is it Dodoria chasing after us? Vegeta's face changed again and again. Soon, 2 green-skinned individuals gradually appeared in the sky. What? Namekians? Vegeta immediately focused on the 2 Namekians who had just appeared in the sky. Rin also looked up at the sky. The 2 Namekians who appeared looked very old, and the other was a young man. Rin knew both of them. They were none other than the Grand Elder of Namek and the only combat-type Namekian Nail. Chapter 17, Bloom, my moon. The current Great Elder can still fly. But after 25 years, because the Great Elder's life will come to an end, he can only sit in his own chair. Even moving is difficult. Nail accompanied the Great Elder here and learned from the Great Elder's mouth about the destruction of Namek's negative energy. Nail also wanted to know who exactly destroyed all the negative energy of Namek's save and ed this planet, and even restored all the seriously ill Namekians to normal. The 2 are high above, looking down from above. Are they Saiyans? Nail was stunned and whispered to the Great Elder. They are both children. The Great Elder smiled kindly. Let's go down. It's impolite to guests up there. Yes, Great Elder. Nail hurriedly responded. The 2 slowly descended from the sky and appeared before Rin and others. Great Elder. The 3 old mullies bowed and saluted. Get up. The Great Elder smiled and immediately looked at Rin, kindly asking, You are Rin, right? First of all, thank you for saving Namek and all the Namekians. It's nothing, just a matter of raising hands. Rin waved his hand indifferently. Vegeta had a puzzled look on his face. What does that mean? During my coma, did Rin save this planet and all the Namekians? Did someone invade this planet? Is it Frisia's men? Is that the Dragon Ball? The Great Elder quickly noticed the Dragon Ball beside Rin and immediately reacted. Are you and this little friend here for the Dragon Ball? Yes, that's right. Rin nodded. Who's the little friend? Vegeta snorted. Why must I go get the Dragon Ball with you? Vegeta snorted. Vegeta, my prince, what did I say before? Don't you want to make a wish? Rin scolded impatiently. Vegeta thought seriously for a moment and finally nodded in agreement. Then come with me. Nail flew into the sky. Vegeta also immediately soared into the air. Swoosh, swoosh. The two turned into two bright streams of light, quickly left the scene, and flew towards the area where the Great Elder's house was located. Nail had already sensed the evil aura on Vegeta, deliberately teasing him, gradually accelerating the speed of flight. Vegeta gritted his teeth, raised his energy to the extreme, and quickly caught up. However, the distance between the two sides grew farther and farther. As Vegeta chased after him, he tragically discovered that the other party had disappeared. Damn it! Vegeta was very unhappy. Brief hesitation. Vegeta gently raised his right hand. His expression became unusually solemn. Snap! Suddenly, a sparkling ball formed in Vegeta's hand. Vegeta gasped heavily. Forming this ball also consumed a lot of his energy. Namekian, do you think you can shake off this prince? Today, this prince will show you what a true Saiyan is. Vegeta sneered, violently throwing the sparkling ball into the sky. Then, Vegeta's fists clenched tightly together. Blossom, my moon, Vegeta shouted, with endless anticipation on his young face. Chapter 18, Vegeta's Giant Ape Transformation Pa. A bright flash burst in the sky, forming a round moon. Vegeta looked up at the artificial full moon in the sky, his body gradually enlarging, his mouth and nose protruding outward, revealing sharp fangs. At the same time, black fur appeared on Vegeta's body. Great ape transformation. Vegeta transformed into a black gorilla. Was it that direction just now? Vegeta turned his head to where Nail disappeared earlier, grinning. Boom! Vegeta rocketed upwards like a missile, increasing his speed to the extreme and leaving a trail in the air. Nail flew ahead rapidly, sensing that Vegeta had disappeared behind him, a faint smile playing on his lips. This brat's still not admitting defeat? Now you know the gap between us, right? However, the next moment, Nail suddenly sensed an extremely powerful aura rising behind him. What's going on? Nail's smile froze on his face. Such a powerful aura. Immediately, Nail turned to look behind him and saw a sparkling sphere appearing in the distant sky. What's that? Nail exclaimed. Before Nail could react, he suddenly saw a dark mountain rushing towards him. Shoo! Vegeta's transformed great ape surpassed Nail at lightning speed. The enormous body caused a violent gust of wind, blowing Nail off balance. Nail barely managed to stabilize himself, watching the monstrous figure before him, his face changing rapidly. Who are you? Nail asked in astonishment, cold sweat dripping from his face. Nail could sense the opponent's overwhelming aura at least 4 times his own. Currently, Vegeta's power level has reached at least 160,000. Having just condensed the artificial full moon, Vegeta's energy had decreased, dropping from 18,000 to around 16,000. So now, as a great ape, Vegeta's power level was only 160,000, while Nail's power level was only 40,000. The difference was obvious. You were flying fast just now, weren't you? Why don't you keep flying? Vegeta snorted, a smug expression on his face. You that kid from earlier? Nail immediately regained his senses, looking at Vegeta in disbelief. Who are you calling a kid? Vegeta felt annoyed, reaching out with his furry hand. Nail was startled, his face changing continuously, trying to dodge. However, the gap between the two was too large now. Vegeta's power level had reached 160,000, while Nail's power level was only 40,000. They differed by 4 times. Nail wanted to dodge, but he couldn't. It was like a mouse meeting a cat, being grabbed by Vegeta. Nail struggled, but to no avail, his face turning pale. I am the Prince of Saiyans. You should address me as His Royal Highness. Vegeta snorted, opening his mouth and facing Nail. Nail was frightened, feeling like he was no match for this guy. Vegeta didn't make things difficult for Nail, slowly releasing his grip and letting him go. Nail was slightly stunned. What did this guy mean? Lead the way ahead, Vegeta ordered Nail impatiently. Nail remained silent, gritting his teeth and flying swiftly. Vegeta followed behind leisurely, a look of endless satisfaction on his face. Is a tiny little Namekian still trying to act tough in front of me? The artificial full moon in the sky grew increasingly distant as they flew forward. Once they exceeded a certain range, Vegeta's body returned to normal instantly. Nail looked back at Vegeta and then at the artificial full moon in the sky, realizing it had turned into a small dot. Did it turn back to normal once it exceeded the range? Nail quickly made a judgment, and his aura had decreased at least 10 times. So, this transformation can increase his strength tenfold, huh? What a terrifying race. One transformation is a tenfold increase in strength. Truly a warrior race. Nail didn't seek revenge against Vegeta. He couldn't possibly compare himself to a little brat in Muri's village. Run, for your great kindness. We again express our heartfelt gratitude. You saved our Namek and all Namekians. The Great Elder bowed to Ron. Great Elder, you're too kind. Rin quickly responded. If you keep being so polite, then I won't be polite to you. Great Elder. I heard that the Dragon Balls can grant 3 wishes. Since you're so polite, all 3 wishes should be mine. Rin said, Great Elder, Muri, Delta, and the old man. The 4 of them were completely speechless. The Great Elder coughed helplessly. Muri felt endless emotion. Great Elder, you have no idea how shameless this kid is. I'm dizzy from his words. All right, they're all yours. The Great Elder nodded, agreeing readily. A brief silence followed. I wonder what wishes Rin wants to make. The Great Elder curiously asked, then explained, I don't mean to pry into your privacy. If you don't want to say, then don't. Okay, I won't say. Rin nodded. Great Elder, you're not saying? Huh? Are you going to say your wishes later? This kid is a good person, but he says things that anger people easily. Did Nail have a pleasant time with His Royal Highness? The Great Elder could only helplessly change the subject, turning to where Nail and Vegeta had disappeared. I'm not sure if it was pleasant, but His Royal Highness just transformed into a great ape. Rin smiled, explaining, Do you see the light spot in the distance? He created the artificial full moon. Great ape? I heard your Saiyans can transform into great apes, and this way, they can increase their energy, right? The Great Elder's face changed slightly. By tenfold, Rin replied. The Great Elder's eyes widened even more, showing shock and disbelief. Increasing power by tenfold. That's too terrifying. Why did he transform like that? Did they have a conflict? The Great Elder suddenly had a bad feeling. Let's pray together now, Rin said. Great Elder. Chapter 19, Dragon. Do you know Aladdin's magic lamp? Intermittently, elders from several other villages hurried over with Dragon Balls in hand. Upon arrival, the elders from these villages immediately paid their respects to the Grand Elder and spoke concerning Namek's negative energy. The elders noticed that Namek's negative energy seemed to have disappeared. Those who were previously ill mysteriously recovered. When the Grand Elder revealed that Run was their benefactor, the Namekians present were immediately astonished. Anyone could see that the benefactor of these Namekians was surprisingly young, almost like a child. Nevertheless, the Namekians were polite and promptly bowed to Run. 5 elders have arrived from afar. 5 Dragon Balls have been collected, and 1 from Elder Muri, totaling 6 Dragon Balls. Only the Grand Elder remains, which will complete the set of 7 Dragon Balls. About 5 minutes passed. Whoosh! 2 bright streaks flashed across the sky. Nail and Vegeta returned with the Dragon Balls. After Vegeta returned, he gasped for breath, looked at the Dragon Balls in Nail's hands, and suddenly felt, why did I go get the Dragon Balls? Was I just running errands? It's like I didn't do anything. What did I do to keep me occupied? However, immediately after, Vegeta saw that all 7 Dragon Balls had been gathered. Vegeta was extremely excited. When Nail also handed the last Dragon Ball to Rin put the 7 Dragon Balls together. Okay, I'm going to make a wish, Rin politely said to the Grand Elder. All right, nodded the Grand Elder. But Vegeta, with a bright look in his eyes, shouted at the 7 Dragon Balls, "Dragon Balls, make me a Super Saiyan." And then nothing happened. All the Namekians present looked at Vegeta as if he were an idiot. Vegeta stood dumbfounded for a long time without noticing any changes in his body. "Run, you lied to me. Didn't you say that gathering the 7 Dragon Balls would grant any wish?" Vegeta demanded, glaring at Ren angrily. "No, you're wrong," Ren replied. "It's 3 wishes, not 1. Vegeta, is that important? Why can't I make a wish when it's important? I want to become a Super Saiyan. Why is there no response from my body?" Vegeta asked angrily. "Cough, cough. Prince Vegeta, it's not that gathering the 7 Dragon Balls can grant wishes directly. You need to summon Shenron." The Grand Elder sighed helplessly and hurriedly explained. "What? Summon Shenron? What's that?" Vegeta felt very bad. The Grand Elder stopped talking and immediately summoned Shenron using the Namekian language. The sky instantly became extremely dark after the Grand Elder's words fell. The next moment, golden light burst forth from the 7 Dragon Balls, forming a pillar of light that soared into the sky and condensed in midair. Snap! The light transformed into a blue giant dragon. This giant dragon was chubby and looked somewhat cute. "Gatherer of the Dragon Balls, state your wish, and I will do my best to grant you 3 wishes." Shenron's voice resounded in the air. What is this?" Vegeta widened his eyes, feeling endless shock. "Run, Prince Vegeta, this is our Namekian Shenron, also known as Purunga, meaning the god of dreams." The Grand Elder explained with a smile. This was also the first time Ren had seen the Purunga, and he was even more deeply moved. From Ren's perspective, Purunga seemed like a colossal creature, like a giant monster, hovering in the sky. "All 3 wishes are yours this time," the Grand Elder said generously. "Can I make a wish now?" Vegeta learned his lesson this time and didn't rush to make a wish. It would be embarrassing if his wish couldn't be fulfilled again. "The first 2 times, I embarrassed myself to the point of going to Vegeta's planet. This time, let's find out first before speaking." "Go ahead," Purunga's voice sounded. "State your first wish." Vegeta's eyes lit up immediately. Even this dragon said wishes could be made. There shouldn't be any problem then. "Hey, make me a Super Saiyan." Vegeta hurriedly made a wish to Shenron. Purunga ignored him. "Shenron, give me an Aladdin's lamp." Ren calmly made his first wish in the Namekian language. "Shenron." The Grand Elder was surprised. He never expected Ren to use the Namekian language. Hey, I taught him," Delta said proudly. "Well, although it's not very fluent, the meaning is still clear." Muri silently wiped his sweat. "I feel more and more that this kid learned the Namekian language just to make wishes. Just now, he learned a few pronunciations, and they formed these sentences. This kid is too cunning." Vegeta turned his head, looking puzzledly at Ren. "Hey, Ren, what kind of gibberish did you just say?" Vegeta asked strangely. The Grand Elder. All the Namekians present glared at him angrily. "What nonsense is this brat talking about? That's our sacred language, Namekian. You said you wanted an Aladdin's lamp, which can summon a genie by rubbing the lamp and fulfill 1 wish, right?" Purunga felt like his head was about to explode. "So, you summoned me just to ask for a lamp? I see, that's what it means. No wonder you're a dragon, and you know everything." Ren nodded vigorously. Purunga, a brief silence. "This is just an ancient mythological story that doesn't exist, so this wish cannot be granted," Purunga replied. "I knew it would be difficult to fulfill then. I'll change my wish," Ren said, making another wish in the Namekian language. "My wish is to make the universe free from conflicts and to ensure eternal peace in the universe." Purunga, "Sorry, this wish cannot be granted." Purunga's head started to sweat. Can't it be fulfilled?" Ren was stunned. Yes, the existence of humanity will inevitably lead to conflicts. Even gods cannot avoid it. Purunga wiped his sweat. Chapter 20. "Let me, Vegeta, become a Super Saiyan. This won't work. That won't work either. Then let me change my wish then. All people on this planet will have the ability to survive in the universe." "What about this wish?" Ren asked. Of course, when Ren made his final wish, he still spoke in the Namekian language. Sorry, I can only give one person the ability to survive in the universe at a time. Shinran wiped his sweat again. Why do I suddenly feel so useless? Shinran's mentality was a bit broken. Then let me have the ability to survive in the universe. Rin sighed with a glum look on his face. Okay, Shinran nodded guiltily. An invisible energy flashed in his scarlet eyes and quickly covered Ren's body. Ren felt that his body seemed to have opened up the yin-yang and felt indescribably comfortable. It seems that I can survive without breathing in the future. Sometimes life is so full of miracles. Your first wish has been fulfilled. Please tell me your second wish. The divine dragon, Shinran, sighed. Why do I suddenly feel like I seem to owe you? The great elder and Muri looked at each other, and both breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that although this kid likes to play pranks, he is still kind-hearted and does not make excessive wishes. Vegeta, tell me your wish. Rin stepped forward and patted Vegeta on the shoulder. Vegeta was still confused, but when he felt Rin's hand, he immediately shuddered and returned to his senses. What's going on? What language did you just speak? Vegeta asked quickly. Namekian language. Rin smiled. It seems that making a wish requires using the Namekian language. Vegeta, wait a minute. What did you learn Namekian? Vegeta was a little surprised. It's not important anymore. If you don't make a wish quickly, the dragon will disappear. Rin urged. Vegeta gritted his teeth and muttered with a dark face. Did you listen to Beerus and the person next to him about these things? No, Rin shook his head. No? Then how did you know? Vegeta asked curiously. We have a book at home that serves as the bottom of the pot. I picked it up and flipped through it that day. It recorded all these messy things. I didn't expect it to be true. Rin sighed with emotion. What? The book you're talking about can't be all the races of the universe that my father's been looking for, right? Vegeta suddenly returned to his senses. It is said that that book records every person in the universe. The characteristics of the race were recorded when our ancient Saiyan gods traveled through the universe. Ren, is there such a book? I was just talking casually. Ancient god? What's his name? Ren asked curiously. Humph, of course, it's the Super Saiyan god you were talking about. Vegeta answered, looked up at the sky, thought about it carefully, and replied, his name seems to be Yamoshi. Yamoshi? Rin said, yes, it's Yamoshi. Vegeta nodded, then gritted his teeth and rolled his eyes at Rin. How come that book is the bottom of your family? I don't know about that. Rin shook his head. Your father must have taken it back, damn it. Using such a good book to be the bottom of the pot. Vegeta was very unhappy. Rin scratched his head thoughtfully. Unexpectedly, Yamoshi also wrote a book about his travels. As a Dragon Ball fan, Rin certainly knows who Yamoshi is. Yamoshi is the Super Saiyan god that Beerus met in his dream and the real Super Saiyan god. Divine Dragon Balunga, Great Elder, Muri, and other Namekians, everyone present was more speechless than the others. What makes you speechless is not that some books are used as a base. It's Shenlong who's still waiting for you to make a wish. Why are you two still talking? When can't you just talk like this? Ahem, I'm still waiting for your second wish. The divine dragon Shinran really couldn't wait any longer. Run, tell him, let me become the legendary Super Saiyan. This is my wish. Vegeta snorted and ordered to run. Speak carefully. Is this your attitude toward asking for help? Rin scolded. Vegeta was so angry that his whole body trembled. However, Vegeta now had something to ask for, so he had no choice but to put away his commanding tone, twitch the corners of his mouth, quickly reorganize his words, and say his wish again. Rin spoke Vegeta's wish to Shinran in the Namekian language. Sorry, this wish cannot be realized. The divine dragon, Shinran, spoke. Why do you always say some wishes that I can't realize? Vegeta, what did you say? You said you can't make me become the legendary Super Saiyan. Vegeta felt bad all over. Yes, this wish cannot be realized. Cold sweat broke out on the face of Shinran. Because you are not the legendary Super Saiyan. What? I'm not the legendary Super Saiyan. Vegeta's eyes widened, and he immediately came to his senses. He quickly pointed at Ren and asked Shinran, I'm not the legendary Super Saiyan. Am I? He is. Neither is he. Shenron replied. Vegeta suddenly felt much better. Then tell me, who is the legendary Super Saiyan? Vegeta gritted his teeth and asked. Is this question your wish? Asked the divine dragon Shenron. Vegeta, don't waste your wishes. Does it matter who the legendary Super Saiyan is? Rin scolded him, saying, I know about this, and I will tell you later. What? Do you know who the legendary Super Saiyan is? Vegeta was stunned. There's nothing I don't know about. Rin replied. Vegeta wiped his sweat. Although I can't make you the legendary Super Saiyan, I can tell you how to become a Super Saiyan. Shenron added. What? What's the difference between the two? Vegeta was stunned. Isn't it obvious? My prince. Rin sighed. One has the word legend, and the other does not. Simply put, one is the legendary Super Saiyan, and the other is an ordinary Super Saiyan. People, do you understand now? Vegeta wiped his sweat silently. Is there any other way to say this? I learned a lot today. A brief silence. Then tell me how to become a Super Saiyan. Vegeta thought carefully and asked. Confirm again. Is this question your wish? Shenron asked. Chapter 21. Vegeta the legendary Super Saiyan. Not bad, tell me. Vegeta nodded. Please make your wish in the Namekian language, Porunga replied. Vegeta felt a pang of frustration again. Vegeta, how do I become a Super Saiyan? Haven't I already explained it clearly to you before? Lord sighed. Do you want to waste a wish? I want to hear it from the dragon himself. Who knows if what you're saying is true? Vegeta didn't believe it. Think it over. This is your only wish, Lord said. Isn't there still one more wish? Vegeta snorted. Vegeta, I need you to understand something. Don't be so greedy in life. One wish is enough. Lord taught, patting Vegeta's shoulder. Vegeta, Grand Elder, the Namekians present couldn't stop rolling their eyes. Don't be so greedy in life. Did you say that? Just now, you wanted a genie, thinking of making several wishes. Indeed, being lenient on oneself and strict with others is human nature. Of course, as long as I know how to become a Super Saiyan, I can do without other wishes. Vegeta snorted, seeming to understand. As long as he could become a Super Saiyan, he would become the #1 in the universe. Why would he need other wishes? He's still young. He doesn't need eternal life, either. When he truly becomes the #1 in the universe, with a broader perspective, he'll think of other wishes. Fine, I'll grant your wish then. Lord nodded, reiterating Vegeta's wish in somewhat clumsy Namekian language. Shenron, please explain in detail about the Super Saiyan. This is our wish. Super Saiyan, simply put, can be divided in a legendary Super Saiyan and ordinary Super Saiyan. Porunga's voice rang out, and the legendary Super Saiyan, widely circulated among Saiyans, is a super warrior born once every 1,000 years, who must possess the bloodline of the legendary Super Saiyan to accomplish it. Ordinary Saiyans cannot become the legendary Super Saiyan if they do not have the bloodline of the legendary Super Saiyan. So that means neither I nor Lore have the bloodline of the legendary Super Saiyan? Vegeta felt indignant. Yes, Porunga nodded. Vegeta looked deeply at Lord, feeling more balanced in his heart. It would be even more painful if a legendary Super Saiyan was by his side. But who is the legendary Super Saiyan? Could it be that Kakarot Lord mentioned? It shouldn't be. His power level is only 2, right? How could a low-class warrior with a power level of only 2 be the legendary Super Saiyan? Wait a minute, I seem to remember something. I remember hearing someone say that among those born around the same time as me, besides Lord, there was another very talented warrior. He seems to have been exiled by my father. The king, what was his name again? Could that person be the legendary Super Saiyan? Whether Super Saiyan or legendary Super Saiyan, it's a transformation. Although neither of you can become the legendary Super Saiyan, you can transform into ordinary Super Saiyans through your efforts. Shenron Porunga's voice echoed in the sky. The transformation of an ordinary Super Saiyan can increase your power by 50 times. What? 50 times? Nappa's face changed repeatedly. That brat's great ape transformation is already freaky enough. Yet a Super Saiyan transformation can increase strength by 50 times? Vegeta. Vegeta turned his head to look at Lord. Lord had mentioned before that being a Super Saiyan might be a transformation. And it turns out to be true. To become an ordinary Super Saiyan, the first prerequisite is to have a peaceful heart, which will cause S cells to be born within you. When your power level reaches a certain value, and S cells saturate, you can transform into a Super Saiyan through intense emotional fluctuations. Shenron Purunga explained in detail about the Super Saiyan and added, "Your second wish has been granted. Please state your third wish." Shenron, "We have no more wishes, thank you." Lord smiled slightly. "In life, don't be too greedy. I was thinking of asking you for another 100 wishes earlier." Shenron, "Okay, then farewell." Purunga nodded, and his body dissipated in an instant. Whoosh! The 7 Dragon Balls also swiftly flew into the sky. Then, after reaching a certain height, the 7 Dragon Balls rapidly descended from the sky. Dada. The 7 Dragon Balls landed beside Lord, already turned into stone. The sky returned to brightness. Lord heard that after the Namekian Dragon Balls grant a wish, they do not scatter around the world but gather together. Earth's Dragon Balls were originally gathered together, but later, Earth's Kami scattered them worldwide because of human greed. Grand Elder looked at Lord, showing a face of astonishment and admiration. Although this kid's way of speaking,
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. R18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.